We're going to go ahead and get this going. The idea of this is to talk about the state of the situation, obviously. It is to shed some light on, I guess, the entirety of the situation as a whole, because it doesn't seem like a whole lot of people still understand what's going on. So we're just going to go ahead and wait for some people. We're going to go ahead and get this on the Twitter again. I've already posted it like 3 or 4 times, but I'm going to do it one more time. Now live. See if we get some people in here. Hopefully my invite goes out and they come in. If not, it's all right. Welcome. Just going to be waiting on a few people before we get started here. I'm going to go ahead and send out some invites for those that want to participate in this. Do appreciate the company. So if you didn't catch the first part of this is to just talk about the overall hypocrisy, the craziness that I have experienced myself when it comes to good old Twitter. Pretty much the state of like how many movements we have with us that are helping us out, which I think is amazing. There's a lot of cool people that I've met so far that are either extreme one way or another, but they're pretty pretty objective and open-minded, even though they're extreme one way and another. So just waiting on a couple more people, and we'll launch this. We'll get this going. Let's see if I can YouTube. I'm gonna try to invite somebody into this as well, so that way bring on a guest. Please let me know down below if you want to be in this, and we'll go ahead and get going. I hope Poll and those guys aren't streaming right now, because if so, then no one's gonna make it here. Like that's just how it's gonna be. Like if those guys are streaming right now, then there's no sense of me doing this, because that means no one's gonna be wanting to pay attention. I mean, it's cool. I mean, it's good in one sense because video will at least be archived and people will be able to watch it afterwards. So there is sense to doing this. So let's see. We're gonna invite some people. All right, I just posted the invitation for anybody that wants to join in. like I said, I'm going to probably end up just talking in this anyways, regardless of how many viewers we have. Like I said, the video will probably get its views afterwards, and that's perfectly fine with me. I think it's just important to get some of this stuff out there, have people in Gamergate be more aware of what they're doing and the actions that they're taking against the other side when it comes to their interactions with them. In other words, because I don't see this whole situation playing out well with everybody being so negative and being pissed off all the time, and I honestly don't see the point in reacting in an extreme way towards them because it pretty much gives them what they want. Not to mention 9/10 of the people that we're going against right now who claim to be harassed for some reason lack a device that can possibly record or even capture the entire situation in which they are being harassed. I find that really funny. And if they were truly feel threatened, they would have called the cops. It kills me. I don't understand it. So earlier this week, you guys, Zoe Quinn posted a video about being harassed, and what it was is, and it seemed like a staged situation where this little kid called up and said 5 guys and fries, right? A little kid. So I had said, why don't you get the kid's number and call the parents or report the number to the police? Of course, what I said got misconstrued and twisted. Of course it did. But whatever. So anyways, after saying such suggestions, I then catcalled a shithead for condoning releasing a child's number publicly, even though I never stated such, but whatever. I found that a little amusing. So yeah, so we have a little kid calling her, and she found that to be harassment, was outwardly against it. And when it came to calling the kid out, and that's just wrong. We can't do that. That's just wrong. But anyway, so as of right now in Gamergate, it seems like a lot of cool things are happening. We got people that are still doing the emails, getting ad support being pulled off of these sites, getting. I think Kotaku's next. I think people have been really going at Kotaku pretty hard and heavy with their ad support, which is really good. I hope they get that going. I hope more of us are able to get these emails through because that is pretty important, especially Kotaku. Gama Sutra, their numbers are starting to dwindle when it comes to ads. like they have been targeted like crazy lately. I can't believe the progress that we're actually making on that site when it comes to getting their money pulled. And it's funny because I don't see how these people can have that sort of mentality of the way they've been acting as far as their consumer base. You need your consumers in order to keep your site going, correct? It's a business. It's something that you really put a lot of work into. It's something that you overall care about. I mean, most of these sites started off as somebody's brainchild, someone's baby, someone's hard work went into them. And they would allow people that work under them to post the things that they post against the people that are supporting their sites in the first place. So I don't get it. You know what I mean? I truly don't understand that sort of mentality. It kind of reminds me of the old days when punk used to be about free speech and anarchy, and how punk was viewed as a rebel against the machine kind of thing. You know what I mean? And it's almost like these kids are doing the same thing, but even worse. Like they're taking it to that next level. They're taking the very industry that has helped give them their recognition and shit on it. Like at least punk, the message was straight up all the time, all the 24/7. It was to be against the norm, pretty much, be against the grain of which everybody else follows. It was a bold statement. It was something that was known. It was something that was practiced, amongst all of its artists. Like, it's just the way it was. These guys are just like, oh, we're gonna make a lot of money off you, and then we're gonna take a major dump on your head right afterwards, and then we're gonna expect to keep making money off of you because we know you guys are continuously enjoy this sort of abuse. Like, they think that people actually think that. That's really sad. Gaming journalism, this is why I've never taken gaming journalism to a serious note. I've never truly given two shits about it, really. I've always looked at it as it sort of was like a parody of this industry as a whole. Like, you don't sit there and plagiarize other people's articles and call that gaming journalism. I mean, that's like 90% of game journals nowadays do. They just plagiarize everybody else's work, or they do an opinion piece, is what they call it, and they expect everybody to take that opinion piece seriously. Hoping for more. It's okay though. Like I said, this video will get its viewership even afterwards. So the current state of the situation, it seems like someone's actually trying to make a council or an elders type situation within Gamergate. And I'm going to tell you why it's not a good idea. I think it's a really bad idea. Like, there shouldn't be no elders. There shouldn't be any sort of situation that's going to focus all of us into a single point. The moment that happens, the moment we start recognizing somebody as a leader and they start saying stuff, that we would normally not say, it's going to make us all look bad, and it's going to make us all sort of deter to what our original purpose was. And that's not something that's good for anybody. I don't think there should be any sort of eldership type situation. There shouldn't be any sort of council. There shouldn't be anything. I think things are perfect the way they are, for the simple fact that we're spread out. We all have our own battles, and we're all fighting this situation in a different way and in a different tone. You have people like me that's trying to be a bridge builder and try to build that gap between us and them. I try to have a better understanding of where they come from before I start prejudging them and start going at them in a certain way. I don't like to go out on attack and go, oh my God. Because when you start attacking them, right, when you start attacking them, you become no better than they are, really. Because that's how their situation starts off too, is they attack. And I've already had comments on my page. If you go back on my Twitter page, like, I've already had comments from all these people that have tagged me in these lines. And it was just straight up freaking, troll comment after troll comment. And I've just learned to deal with it. I've just learned to, like, not even respond. Where some of you guys are just straight up responding to them, hating on them. And that's what they want, because in the end, they're going to look at that and they're going to be like, oh, this is harassment. Oh, no, this is harassment. Yeah, this is totally harassment. And that's not something that's good for anybody. And the one thing I've noticed is when they claim harassment, right, what is the first thing they do? It's usually they want to open up a Patreon account. They want to open up a crowdfunding account of some sort to help finance them. Like, oh my gosh, I don't want to call the police or show any sort of proof that I've been harassed. So I'm going to open up a crowdfunding account at these sites and make money off of it. That, especially if you know anything about politics, lobbying. The whole 9 yards is like a reflection of how you hear about Congressman being attacked, or he was threatened online. His house was being called. These are all stunts in order to get money, and that's all it is. And the moment that we start attacking them, it becomes a stunt for money. It becomes more or less fact for these people to get money. So the less we can make that into a fact for them, the less money they get. And pretty soon people are just going to continuously see them for the frauds that they are, of claiming how much money they're actually going to, how much money they're trying to raise for whatever fucking project that they're not going to honor anyways. And Anita Sarkeesian is one of the main ones that you could look at to support my point against. Because this situation, you guys, this is ridiculous. Like, this is some stupid shit. Oh, okay. I guess I got comments or something. Okay, sorry guys. I didn't see it. My bad. Hold on. I thought the comments would come up on YouTube. I really did. So responded to yes. Oh, hey, sorry. Okay, yeah, sorry, Candy. I'll get you in here. My bad. Any chance that you could just add this account to that account, I mean? Let's see, hold on. Julia K. Lucerne. Hey, can you please? Oh, okay. Yeah. I will. I'll add you. Sorry about that. I apologize. I I'm still, for all the time I've used Google Plus, I'm still not used to it. Like I am still not used to it. All right, so we're gonna go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and add you through. Let's see, where you at? Where does this add people to it? Huh. Ah, here we go. All right, so I just add you through this, I guess, right? Um, it's not coming up for you, like for that account. Like for some reason, it's not coming up. I don't know why. So is that the actual name of the account? Oh, it came up now. What the heck? Okay, never mind. There we go. Added. Let's see how this works out. All right, so I got her coming in, and see what happens. Oh, hello. How's it going, Juliet? Are you okay? I'm not sure if you're saying anything or if you're trying to say anything. All right. I guess I'll just keep talking until you can start saying something. So yes. Anyways, current state of the situation is we are attacking when we're not supposed to. We're not supposed to be engaging these people in a one v one type of conversation. I've said this in the last podcast that I was involved with, explaining this is you guys need to approach these people with at least three or four of you. You cannot have this 1v1 type of situation because anything that you say, regardless of how you say it, they're going to look at it as an attack or as a way that they could consider as harassment. There's even somebody that was on Twitter the other day trying to tell me that us denying them or even speaking up against what of what they're saying, claiming as harassment is a form of harassment. So it's like, really? Like, come on. I mean, how much do you have to reach before it just becomes blatant bullshit? Wow. Hey, Jenny, I don't know what you're doing, Jenny, that you are pissing off Twitter. I don't know why you're even engaging in these conversations with people. So Jenny Goodchild recently has become like Gamergate's number one to ignore and to pretty much slap the irrelevant stamp on. And it seems like I don't know what the deal is. Like she told me the other day that she's not really for either side. She just kind of rattles the cages to stir up controversy to piss people off. So pretty much she's just a troll on both ends. And I know she's not really a troll on their end because I know who the people she knows, and I know that she's involved with people over there, and that's fine. Um, the thing that cracks me up about her though is like there's been a few guys that I've noticed that have really come at her in a respectful tone, not yelling at her, not screaming at her, and then telling, and then she like avoids them for some reason. Like they ask her honest questions and she doesn't even answer them. So I do see where people are coming from when they're saying that she doesn't answer. She switches goalposts and stuff. Like I kind of witnessed it on Twitter. That's where I've definitely witnessed it a lot of it at. But my stance with her is still the same. I have no problems with her. I don't hate her. I don't dislike her really. I keep it gaming with her. We talked about Guild Wars like one time, but I find that gaming conversations with her is better than bull crap. Hello, are we back? All right, Julie, are you back yet?
Hello.
Hi. Wish to introduce yourself and what your take on this whole thing is?
Um, hello.
Hi. It's all right. You can take your time. It's fine. Um, yeah. So, how long have you been a part of all this? Uh,
Hi, sorry, I was a bit busy.
oh no, it's perfectly fine. I thought I was dealing with like somebody who was really 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 shy. So I was like, oh, okay, I'll give you your time. I understand.
Um, no, because this is like the first time I ever do this, so I was a bit figuring out what I should be doing and what I shouldn't, so I was a bit, yeah, sorry.
No, 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 it's perfectly all right. You wanted to introduce yourself and talk about your side of the situations?
Well, personally, from what I see, I just think that honestly, from the beginning, I was there, so like I kind of saw what happens from the very beginning, and the fact that they started using it all as an excuse to throw around the word misogyny that just got me really fucking mad.
Yeah, yeah. I'm getting tired of that word personally. I think I've seen more of that word than anything else, unfortunately.
And like well, I don't know if you want to talk about literally who, but the whole thing when it started out, I just kind of found it hilarious because I did browse Wizard Chan at some point, and the fact that she started claiming that Wizard Chan was attacking her, that's just
Yeah, yeah, and then yeah, you know what's funny about that is then it turned out like she was trying to engage with them on a passive note after the situation has already escalated to where it was, and I thought that was kind of interesting because now they're kind of like they're not so much against her anymore. You know what I mean? Like I thought that whole situation was kind of weird.
no, because I honestly think that Wizard Chan would be the last page to actually ever attack anybody.
Hmm. Right.
So, so since I just joined the conversation, what were you talking about previously? Because
No, no, it's perfect. No, it's perfectly all right. You can say whatever you want here. Okay, so say the situation is pretty much kind of bringing everybody up to speed when it comes to like the Twitter feed, everybody's engagements, what they should be doing, what they shouldn't be doing. It's not so much of a police mechanism either. It's just kind of a way to bring more gamer gators or SJWs to a more self-awareness type of situation as far as what their actions are. Because people, when they're mad, when they're angry, they say a lot of shit that they don't mean. Um,
yeah,
a lot of knee-jerk reactions, I guess, is what a lot of people have been calling it lately. And that's what I kind of want to bring to light because it seems like the more people in this community attack one another, right? Especially like Gamergator guys or the
actually,
SJWs, when we go back and forth at each other like this, it's not helping anything. It's
no,
actually setting us back.
I think it's a typical divide and conquer situation here because I actually see well, do you browse 8chan?
I just became a member.
Well, I do, and apparently there were a couple of threads yesterday that popped out against some people that that posted videos about Gamergate.
Hmm.
And apparently people were angry simply because the person was looking for attention. I'm not going to mention who it was, but I just don't really agree with that. And it's a mentality I've seen popping out on Twitter lately is that people start turning against each other, and that's definitely not what we need.
Right, exactly. I absolutely agree. I did notice some of the posts the other day that they were putting up on Twitter about 8chan. It was like there was a video where like it was pretty much GamerGate guys going in on each other, and I thought that was kind of awkward. I was like, why? Like, what's the point in all this? I mean, I kind of look at it this way when it comes to GamerGate. I mean, we're no one entity, right? Like nobody is really like just
No,
a group of people. There's not really a group. It's just an entire motion of a code of ethics that everybody has in common that they want to see met, and that's pretty much what it comes down to.
I mean, did you see how like actually did you see these pictures with the political compass test?
No, I didn't.
Apparently, so they because I got called by social justice warriors on Twitter literally Hitler. Right, they called me that,
They called
and
you Hitler?
They called me literally Hitler.
Wow.
And the thing is that they just think that gamer gators are probably right wing, cisgendered, white males, privileged, whatever you want. But turns out actually the majority of Gamergate tends to be in the libertarian left. Either that or well, it spans all over the political spectrum, and you can see that on because somebody compiled all of the political compass tests from a lot of Gamergators, and it just spans all over the place.
Right.
And so
Wow.
it just shows how diverse the opinion is about everything, but the thing is that we are supposed to be united in this one thing, as in we are against corruption in video games and in the medias. And the fact that we're turning against each other on something like this, it's not good, I think.
No, no, that's definitely not a good thing. Because like when we can allow certain things like that to be so trivial to be like that against each other, like you gotta like step back out of yourself when you post stuff like that and wonder like, did I really just say that? Like did that really make sense right now? Because 'cause, like I can understand the knee jerk stuff, right? Like I get it. We all get
Yeah.
mad, but stuff like that of what you were being called. Like, come
Literally.
on. Wow.
The funny thing is that I'm actually part Jewish, so yeah,
Ooh.
it was getting
Ouch. That's rough.
which is kind of hilarious, honestly. No, it was funny, and then some other people started calling me that out of joke because a social justice warrior literally did that, so it just sort of became an inside joke here.
Oh, jeez. Wow. So you're Hitler, huh? Nice to meet
Yeah.
you. Wow. Wow. So, like, what do you think about what do you think honestly? Like, the way things are going, right? Like, did you see the post last night about somebody saying there should be some sort of like elder council?
Oh no, I think that's the last thing we need, and that's wasn't that Leigh Alexander that sort of suggested the fact that we should have a leader or something?
Something like that. I saw. I think Migalv or whatever his name is was posting to me about this because I was asking what it was all about, and I guess one of our own was like agreeing with her, and he was wondering if any of us in the ranks really approved of it, and I'm like, well, there's not really any ranks here, really. Like there really
Oh,
isn't.
we
I
are
mean,
not. We're not. We're not an organized. We're not some sort of organized company here that's trying to attack somebody or something.
right?
No,
And,
we're
and
just a group of.
yeah, exactly. No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, what I meant is that we're just a group of people that decide to be angry because, well, we're angry consumers, right? We're just
Mhm.
angry consumers. We're not happy with what we're being offered, and so we're making a big deal out of it. But honestly, it's not like we're some sort of organized division of the attack patriarchy or something here.
Mhm. I agree. I agree. And we're not a bunch of companies sprawled out in like a militant group ready to go some special ops missions on this, right?
Yeah, like you know, militant patriarchy
Right, right, right.
division,
Well, I'm gonna see if I can.
professional oppressors.
Right, right. And what's crazy is like not only is this movement about like just being and I know a lot of these guys are saying that we're self-entitled, pompous pricks. I don't really look at us that way, um, especially if you spend the kind of money we as gamers spend in this industry. We're definitely not self-entitled. It's just we want to have uh, a better representation of ourselves on the internet when it comes to these gaming sites. Well, what they've been doing for all these years is representing us as gamers.
Of course.
And 9 times out of 10, these guys that are now all of a sudden against the gaming community, which I think is still kind of hilarious. These guys start off in the same boat that we were all once in, and that was to
Yeah.
get a foot into the door and do the thing that we want to do and love doing it. And somehow it's now switched to if you want to love doing something like this, well, you're a loser. It's like, where did this even become the norm? Like,
No. Of course not. But the thing is that I think there's some sort of political agenda being pushed down onto us, and that is a big problem, personally. Do you know the whole mess with Digra and everything?
The Diger situation, there's still not enough there. You know what I mean? Like, there's still not enough there to make me happy as to say, oh my god, this is all Diger. I understand the very means of what Diger does and what their situation is, and I'm against Marxism as a total, as anything, regardless of Digra is in its core is what it's practicing and what it uses to what they say further their studies. It's just I don't know. Like there's still not enough for me to be convinced about Digra just yet. I mean, I'm not saying I don't disbelieve them, but I don't say that it all falls on them.
Because, well, I sort of dug up last time I was working with some friends on this, and I sort of dug up some information about Anita Sarkeesian actually being related to some head of the Communist Party in Canada. So it was actually pretty interesting to find that out.
Wow, that is
There's
crazy.
a that there's a literally some sort of some sort of agenda going on. Of course, I'm not saying that everybody there's like this whole conspiracy theory in where everybody wants us to turn into some sort of cultural Marxist. But what I meant is that there is a section of this video game journalists that abide to a specific political agenda and are trying, and reflect that in their writings and in their posts. And they have this sort of support group going on for each other.
Hmm.
Well, that's what I personally think of this situation, is that Gamergate is a lot deeper than just corruption in video game journalism. It's actually
Oh,
something that's,
absolutely. It could be a lot more. In fact, it's as I've seen it thus far. I haven't been here since the beginning, right? I came in, I would say about week two,
yeah,
and my first experiences of it was I was one of the first people to see the early adapters of Gamergate hashtag racially slur others and to actually pasteurize the other side, as you'd say. And that was my first experiences. And when I was calling that stuff out, I guess I was in the middle of I guess a huge I don't want to say debate, especially when there's slanders being thrown around. I guess just an overall knee jerk reaction of the community itself, and I would speak up against it. Everybody was like, "Oh, you're a sympathizer. You're an SJW." I'm like, no, no, no. like I just don't see this helping you. That's why I'm speaking up against it. That's one thing that I strongly recommend people not doing is give in to your new knee jerk. And
yeah,
so long story short, I started digging into this with Sargon. Like I was watching his videos. I watched Mundaine's Matt's videos. I watched IA's videos. I finally got up to speed on it, and I could honestly see where people would come and think that Gamergate were a bunch of women-hating nerds, pretty much. I could understand where they'd get drawn that sort of picture, because when you first come into this situation, you're like,
mhm.
what the hell? It's like, what is going on? And unfortunately, the picture that's being painted is by those that are in the gaming media right now, and that's the sort of narrative that they're painting for you. And they utilize all the worst posts from like one or two people, and they want to state that that is the over-encompassing opinion of the entire group as a whole, and that's where all the confusion comes from.
Also, I wanted to ask, was Anita Sarkeesian, was she actually sort of attacked or something during Gamergate, or was that before?
That was before Gamergate, and she was trying to link them together.
Yeah, so I mean, because I've seen people telling me that we actually dox people and harass people and pull out Anita Sarkeesian, and I'm like, wasn't that like 2 years ago?
Yeah, she was trying to bring what she was trying to do was bring a past experience to the forefront, and that's what she was doing. And I
Because
found that to be really, really, really stupid. Like, how can you possibly bring up something like that and say that that was Gamergate when Gamergate didn't even come up until this year?
yeah, well,
Like,
you know, sometimes I mean, sometimes I really want to thank V for actually, sarcastically thank V for attacking her so bad that she actually gets so much sympathy money out of it, and then start blaming us for Gamergate. Like,
well,
good job.
and you know what's funny is like, okay, so we live in a digital world, right? We live in a world where everything is pretty much on a mobile device. We have tablets, we have computers,
Yeah,
we got everything to record stuff. We have stuff. My cell phone, for Christ's sake, could take screen captures. I
yeah,
mean, there's just so many things that we could utilize to help further this so-called harassment note that we've all gone against, supposedly. Especially the other side, which you hear a lot about. In fact, you hear that more than anything is how they've been harassed, they were doxxed, they have people come into their house. I think Zoe said at one point that she was mugged, and then
Yeah.
later admitted that it was a lie, and then she said she was mugged again. I was like, what?
Did
Like,
Did you actually read that Facebook post? I think that was two days ago by this person that
yes.
actually knew Zoe Quinn in like 2007.
Yes, but I have to
Okay.
wonder though. But I really seriously like I have to wonder if that is not a ploy to make Gamergate like look like a bunch of cling onto something as fast as they
Yeah.
can idiots. You know what I mean? I think
Of
there's
course,
some
there's.
validity. I think there's some validity, but at the same time, I take it with a grain of salt because it seems like everybody has something to add to this one way or
Yeah.
another.
And well, I guess the fact that there's no proof for it. I mean, it's just somebody posting something on Facebook claiming something. But we kind of all know that she's a bit. I mean, from what we all know of Zoe Quinn, that she's a bit. That she most likely has some sort of psychopathic tendencies or whatever. 'Cause
Huh.
no healthy people can be like this.
Right, right.
Definitely not the sign of a healthy mind. So I do take it with a grain of salt, but at the same time, I would not be very surprised if it was true.
Right, and I almost wanted to ask her on Facebook. I wanted to see if I guess someone's messaging me here. Oops. I'm sorry if I don't get you guys' messages. I keep forgetting not because I don't really look up all that well sometimes. I guess. Um, I guess like what I was trying to say was like I wanted to ask her to prove it. I really
Yeah.
wanted to. I really wanted to like just tell her like, hey, any chance that me reaching out to you, you could email me those messages and give me a source that can confirm that they're from her, and that would right there would help us out a lot. That would be huge
Yeah.
because if that is true of what she said, and there's a way for her to prove it, Zoe Quinn could get thrown in jail for that shit, regardless of the time that's passed.
Yeah.
And I don't know how it is, but in America, they've done stuff like that where past cases have come up that were like 10 years old, and they finally found that the person was guilty. That person spent the rest of their life in jail over that stuff.
Well,
So, sorry, I don't mean to keep interrupting you. Go ahead.
no, no, I didn't really have anything to say, but well, I guess where do you live again? Like, are you from Ireland?
Oh no no no! I'm from good old USA. I'm in Arizona.
Oh, wait, what time is it there?
It is 9 o'clock a.m. right now.
Okay. Sorry, I was just wondering because I think I might have gotten you confused with somebody else, but uh, well, I guess in most countries, jurisdictions usually they every 5 years. I know in Switzerland that every 5 years they pull out old cases and do a full revision of them. Uh, so I guess we don't.
That's see, like I wish we would do that over here. Like over here, if the cases don't get touched, they get what they call file cabineted and to never
Mhm.
be heard from again type situations, unless
Yeah,
something of that case comes up later. That's the only way that the cops are willing to look back at it and fully investigate it. So.
yeah. Or I guess if somebody actually explicitly asked them to investigate it again because they have found something that might go against the evidence they previously have. I guess.
Hmm.
Mm,
It's crazy though. Like I mean, when I read that, I mean, it's pretty appealing. Like it really is. Like I want to believe it. You know what I mean? Like there's a part of me that's like, oh my god, this person would be buried if this was
Zoe Quinn is
true.
literally Stalin.
Like this would prove. Like the thing is like that lady has a lot to lose. Like right now, if that was
Yeah.
true, and if what she admitted was true, and her friend or her ex-friend or whatever she is to her was to actually turn her into the police, it was supposed to be an invest. If she got a name of the person that she supposedly stabbed or killed, um, and they, there was some validity to it to where the person was missing and nobody knew anything. I mean, the amount of her reputation would just go down into the dirt. Like nobody would ever want to tie their
Wait,
name to her again.
wait a second. There's a murder claim too, like that she killed somebody.
Yeah, like if you read towards the bottom of that, she said she had stated that Zoe had admitted to killing somebody
Jeez. Wait,
in
I
an
didn't
in
read.
an email. Yeah, if you go to the very bottom of it, it'll she talks about like there's a full email stating that.
Okay, then now I'm going to take that with a double grain of salt.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, there's a part of me that really, really, really wants to believe it, but something just tells me hoax.
That's a
I don't know
bit
why.
like, something that tells me that this is making Zoe into literally Stalin.
Mm-hmm.
So,
The thing is though, like if there was, like I said, there's any like, especially in the U.S., the allegations that are like that are taken seriously over here, regardless of what this is about. It doesn't, even if it's GamerGate related or SJW related, it doesn't matter. Those sort of
mm,
allegations do not go lightly over here. These are things that you don't just say for to get a rise out of a movement. There's people that are willing to go the extra mile, and I'm sure you've noticed this on Twitter, on our side especially, where they talk about getting information. It's like if there's a way to get that information, there's definitely people that are willing to put in the effort to get it.
yeah, definitely. By the way, can you just link to me to the YouTube of this hangout so that I can share it on my Twitter or something?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I've
Thanks.
been bumping this post for like the last, I don't know, couple of minutes now.
Because
All
I've
right.
got no idea what I'm doing. I guess it's. I mean,
Absolutely.
I'm pretty new to this whole Google Plus platform. Like I never really used it before
Yeah.
Gamergate actually. So
I
also,
understand.
I need to be right back for 5 minutes.
Okay.
My cats are fighting.
So I'm trying to see how I can message you on here. Okay. So added me to circle. Okay. Add. Now I just need to. Oh wait, what? No, come on. So how do I message? I'm trying to message you. I think I got it. Got the Steam request coming in. What the heck? All right. All right. So for those of you that are viewing, like I said, I know there's not a lot of people here, but like I said, these videos usually get their viewership later, much later down the line, and that's perfectly fine with me. I don't need to have a viewership right away. This is, like I said, just to get the overall information of what's current, pretty much. Because honestly, it's important to me that people know people that more people that know about this sort of thing. All right, trying to get her this message. I am such a noob at trying to message people on Google Plus. It's ridiculous. I guess I just shared on her timeline then. I don't know. Oh wait, I could probably just message her through here. Yes, there we go. Awesome, amazing. There we go. I'll send you the link when you get back. And let's see, we're gonna check the Steam. All right. So I have to wonder to my viewers, I sent you the link, by the way,
Okay.
Julie. Yeah.
Uh, where? Like.
On the Google chat, like you should see like a notification if you bring up your Google Plus page,
Okay.
and it'd be like on the right side. There's like a little chat window. I
Okay.
sent it through there because I didn't know how else to message you.
Thank you.
I'm still kind of new to, even though I've done this many times. Like they change things all the time on Google,
Mm,
so it's like right when you get the hang of it, it's like, oh, we're gonna switch it up at the last second.
okay. Because, well, I guess I'm pretty unfamiliar with this still. So, okay, I found it. So, found it.
All right, awesome. So when you first came in on this, right? Like, what was the major tip off for you that got you started on this?
On Gamergate,
Mm-hmm.
basically the fact that they blamed it on misogyny.
Oh, so that was like
That-
that was your whole thing, really? Oh, wow. Mine was somewhat something similar, but it was more like because I was called a misogynist when I first got on Twitter again.
I
Um,
got called a misogynist too.
yeah, yeah. So like that. No, I'm not saying you didn't. No, I was just saying that was kind of like my thing too. Like I just got tired of it. Like as soon as I got
Yeah.
onto Twitter, and you know, because part of what I do, okay, this is what I do in this industry, and I'm an independent PR rep. What I do is I try
Mm.
to build the gap between developers and consumers, and I try to make sure that there's a cohesive relationship there, so that way there's no sort of middleman that can really mess up that situation through publicity stunts like this. That's always been something that I've liked doing. I've been doing it since 2007. Um,
Mm.
and I've worked with a lot of people in this industry because of that, and I've gotten a lot of contacts because of that. And so,
Yeah.
because of this whole situation, the way it's unfolded, and what they're trying to perceive as feminist bullcrap, rhetoric, it sort of pissed me off to a point when I saw my work kind of be undone.
Mm.
Um, and my work kind of came undone the day they decided that they were going to bring in, all these different feminist type movements to further their agenda, and that shit really pissed me off because the whole idea is to build a bridge for people for people to help
Yeah.
both parties to understand where each other are coming from, and they kind of destroyed it when they did that, and and I took offense to it. Actually, I took really personal offense to it.
You know, for me, I was already angry before Gamergate, and I was angry with, Anita Sarkeesian and her whole gang of people, and I was also angry at those Kotaku posts that just tells you that if a game doesn't have a female protagonist, it's probably sexist.
Oh wow.
And that was already something I was angry with, and I guess the whole conspiracy thing that eventually led to Gamergate was, I don't know, the last straw? Did
Hmm.
you say that in English, the last straw? Because uh, I'm sorry, because in French we say that it's the last drop that makes the bucket overflow. How do you
Right.
say it in English?
Yeah. It was for us. It's the last straw to break the camel's back.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. I understand that completely. See, and that's the thing is, I never paid attention to people like Anita because I know she is the fair representation of what she hates. You know what I mean?
Mm.
She doesn't like feminism, or she doesn't like feminist type things in games, right? Like tropes. She hates the common mistake that these developers so-called make. She is the very thing she hates the most, and I can't respect people like that, and that's why I never paid attention to sites like Kotaku. I never paid attention to sites like Gama Sutra. In fact, I didn't even know Gama Sutra existed until this whole thing transpired. I
Well, me
didn't.
either, actually.
I didn't even. I had no idea. Like I was like, who the hell are these people? Because the thing is I used to write for a number of sites, right? And there's
Yeah.
probably the same thing. I worked for a site called Games Media Pro out of the UK. A good friend of mine owns that site, in fact, and that's where I pretty much got my start from. So like when I was doing all this work, I was doing work for just the developers themselves. I wasn't doing work for common just the users, or should I say the customers.
Yeah.
All my pieces were based out of, or to help the actual devs themselves and publishing houses, and that was the whole thing. And that's why PR to me was so important. Was I got to work at such a close stand-in with these people, and that was a really good thing. And then I see this unfold, and I'm like, where do all these sites come from? And it just reminded me, like, when you work in this industry like this, you really are in a bubble. Like, you don't have a full grasp as to what it is that you're doing. Or not what it is you're doing, but what other people are doing, because you're so focused on what you're doing. And I see all these other sites doing the same exact thing, but they're doing it in such a sense that they actually crap on their viewers. And I'm like, what? Like, how can you not be up to date about current situations? Like, and I understand the whole bubble thing, because I used to be in a bubble. I completely get it. But to sit there and just really just downplay your audience like that and expect them to continuously come back, that's really disheartening. That's really sad, and that puts that's the thing, and that puts a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths in this industry. There's quite a few people that have already emailed me that or that are old contacts that are now in other companies and stuff, that have already told
Yeah.
me that this has been one of the biggest movements that they've ever seen in gaming ever for all the years that they've been here. Seriously, this is a huge thing. This isn't just this little tiny thing that the other side's trying to play this down as. When people that I haven't talked to in the last 4 years all of a sudden message me and they tell me about Gamergate, you know something is up.
Yeah.
You know something is definitely serious about this.
And well, I guess especially when you are in the industry. But the thing is that it's also appearing in. I mean, at first we all thought that it was maybe something that happened more in Anglo countries, but it started
Hmm.
appearing and spreading in international news outlets. For instance, the French main newspaper, or even the Der Spiegel, which is the main German newspaper. Actually, they start posting about. They actually made articles about Gamergate, also blaming it on misogyny.
Oh, jeez.
And that caused, I actually read the commenting section, and then this Der Spiegel, like, okay, however you pronounce that, they actually had to delete the article because people were getting really fucking mad in the commenting section. It was like easily 700 comments in like one day
Wow.
because Gamergaters got mad at the fact that this newspaper, this very, very mainstream, it's like the Times, really. New York Times or whatever there, but it's the fact that this very mainstream newspaper decided to blame it on misogyny and harassment.
That's crazy. That's intense. That like even they're like, oh yeah, this is totally misogynistic.
Yeah, because I guess journalists they do communicate with each other, and when they read something somewhere, they don't really bother fact checking. At least most of them just see a couple of articles here that says the same thing, and so they are going to report about it the same way without
Mm.
digging much further into it.
And see, that is the issue. Like, I think that is that right there. You just nailed it. That's the most common issue right there, is people are too lazy to actually look into the actual facts. Now, it's funny because I'm gonna use my in-law for an example. Okay, she actually I had made a post on Facebook to my family members because my family members got wind of what it was that I was doing and they were asking me about it, and so I made a personal video to all of them addressing it. And the
Yeah.
first thing that my in-law does is say that it's all it is just a bunch of sexist gamers harping on somebody else's personal decisions in their lives. That was her actual comment, and I even explained it to her. Like I explained the very the very thing that it
Mhm.
wasn't her. It wasn't a bunch of sexist gamers. It was just the fact that everything that gamers have stated in the past 10, 15 years has come to light. And it's not just a bunch of gamers with tinfoil hats. It's real. It's real shit, and it's been confirmed. And she still didn't understand it. It was like she does the same thing that almost every other feminist that I've ever talked to does, and they allow their own personal beliefs of feminism cloud their interpretation. So like anything you say to them is quite the opposite of what they believe, so they just dismiss it regardless of it's fact or not, and that's really sad. Like I just gave up the conversation with her. I was like, okay,
You
I'm
know,
done.
it's one thing to be dismissed by a female feminist when you are yourself female, but being dismissed by a guy feminist, that was actually one of the most hilarious things I've ever seen and that ever happened to me. It's like the guy started saying that, but you don't believe that you're oppressed. And then he started trying to explain to me how oppressed I was and that I have internalized misogyny for supporting Gamergate and that I am very oppressed that I don't have any financial rights whatsoever. And when I said that I actually disagreed with him, he just flipped his shit, called me and a couple of other women that were arguing in favor of Gamergate psychotic, and just went off.
Wow. And see, it's so hard to like, and that's another thing. That's what I really like about being a gamer is you have every walk of life in this, every single walk of life. You have people like that. Yeah, people like that are just like him that are supporting Gamergate. That's the funny part. You have people that are hardcore feminists that think all men should die supporting Gamergate, but you also, on the same token, have those same exact people that are supporting also the other side of the coin. So it's like it's
Yeah.
really diverse, and I like it, but it's really scary. It is a scary thing. Like you cannot I just cannot believe how many people I've met throughout this entire situation to give me their take on what Gamergate is, and I've heard like 6 or 7 different things. Like,
Mm.
and so one of the main things that I like hearing, that I think is funny. I don't really like hearing it, but it's funny nonetheless. Is Gamergate's all a bunch is it's an anti-feminist movement, is how it's been portrayed in a lot of different circles, and I thought that was funny. I'm like, really? I'm like, have you not looked at the members that claim Gamergate? I mean, like almost, I would say a good 30 or 40 of them alone are
Yeah.
feminists. Like,
Check your privilege. Do it.
check your privilege. Yes, I've heard that quite a bit myself. Oh man.
But you know that meme, First World Problems?
Hmm.
And I actually grew up in Vietnam, and people there, if you actually started worrying about sexism in video games, people would just think that you're mentally unstable, that you have too much time on hand, and that you should start doing something useful and actually work.
Yeah.
Something like that. And I come here and people just start like complaining about everything that shouldn't even be a problem in the first place. And that's just, for somebody that grew up in a third world country, that's just sort of shocking.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really. It's like you're literally inventing a reason to complain about.
You'd think that, yeah, like that's exactly what it comes off as. I mean, like third world country, you guys had a lot more to worry about than multimedia. You know what I mean? Like you guys didn't have a whole lot as far as media goes to worry about. You had your own personal family issues you had to worry about. You had to worry about who's going to be able to, pay for this, take care of
Yeah.
that. I mean, there's just what your issues were way more deeper and more time consuming. Obviously,
It's
you. Hmm?
we have actual issues here.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
then I come here and then I start watching stuff from Anita Sarkeesian and I'm like, what? How
Yeah.
is this an issue? I mean, first of all, like, gender violence, didn't it just go down for the last 20 years?
Mm-hmm.
And and that's when, gaming actually became more and more popular, and yet they say that gaming caused gamers to become sexist.
Wow. And you know what's funny, and I know so many people have brought this up, but I've always found this really hilarious because it's the same exact argument that we've heard time and time again. They try to lump all these different communities that are super toxic, right? You look at League of Legends, super
Mm.
toxic. You look at Dota 2, super toxic. Call of Duty, super toxic. People are just outright asses to you regardless, correct? So the first thing that
Yeah.
Anita and them that tried to do is try to say that they were these small groups of people were the full representation of gamer culture as a whole. And I
But
thought that was really funny because like right there was the very base of her argument, and it has been downhill for them ever since.
well, I guess the gaming sort of atmosphere when you play live on FPS games and that you use voice chat. Well, of course you're going to get insults for pretty much everything, but that's the case of everyone. So it's not a gender issue, it's just people being online, being fairly anonymous, and that means they can shit talk about pretty much everything they want to
Right.
and
Yeah.
behave like and that's not that's not a gender issue, that's just human nature. We go online, we see somebody doing something that we consider stupid, we're going to just go full out because there's no limitations and there's no stopping us.
Yep. Absolutely. And we'll say whatever we want to say just to one up the person, even if it's a racial slur or not.
It's basically they're going to try to find. I mean, I do that. We do that. Everybody does that. We're going to just find something to nitpick about and then insult that person on it.
Yep.
Anything.
Absolutely.
So
I agree.
it's definitely not a gender issue. It's not because you're a woman. It's just because you're just on live chat and you know and people want to get mad.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing that I think is funny is like they really try to take that type of community and use that as their base for an argument. And I don't know. You know, like I said, the current situation right now is anytime you say or do anything about it, and especially if it's towards them, regardless if you're passive or not, you're never going to win the argument. You're never going to, make sense to them because they refuse what you believe as logic, and that's what's seriously lacking when it comes to these sort of situations, especially these conversations, is the logic behind it that most people lack. That's really sad because like some of these people you see on Twitter, they can formulate a proper sentence. They can write these huge, twit longer blogs that
Yeah.
are very well written. You'd think that these guys were some sort of academic to a point that you'd be like, oh, I could approach this person, they'd understand me completely, and it's actually quite the opposite, and that's, God, that's so annoying.
Well, I guess it's when they just start. They first started sounding fairly rational and logical, and then you try to reason them, and that's when they just sort of, oh no, I bet you're a misogynist that wants to kill women and rape people and whatever. It's always the same story. It's always going to be like, yeah, but I think Gamergate is about misogyny, and then he explains why. And then you say, no, it's not the case, and then that's when he starts, oh, I bet you harass people.
Yep. Yep, exactly. That's the funny thing is like they want to draw that distinction between the two situations of, you're supporting Gamergate, and they automatically have that assumption about you, and it's like, how can you possibly go around assuming the worst of people just because you've been harassed in the amount of because of the amount of stupidity you post on your freaking Twitter blog? Like, I've seen so much stupidity posted by fellow PR people that are on their side of this fence, and I look at it, I just facepalm so hard. I can't believe the crap that I read. I'm like, I know these people better than this. I don't know what the hell they're doing. You know what I mean? Like, are they just trying to fit in? Are they just trying to? They want to be one of the guys. They want to be in the friend zone of the limelight. Like, I really think that that's what a majority of these people are doing when it comes to their situation in this.
Especially those that try to mansplain everything. And I actually asked my friend about this, and I asked him basically, why do some men hate themselves so much that they're going to lower themselves to this level of bootlicking? And what he just told me in one sentence was pussy. And I believe it's actually quite true for at least some of these male feminists that just try to do everything to impress whatever female feminists there are in their friend list or in their, among their followers.
Right. And and it's what's funny is like the moment you call them out on that, you're an immediate sexist.
Oh yes. Yes, you are. You're a big misogynist. I hope you check your privilege today.
Right. I hope my cat's not coming in through my mic that she really wants in here. She like goes crazy when I don't let her in here. What? You're not all right? I have to let her in because she's never gonna stop. All right, I'll be right back.
That's okay because I had to kick my cats out because they were starting to step on my keyboard.
Come on. There you are. There, geez, you're in here now. Can I continue on?
Yeah.
What? I'm a cat person myself. But yeah, so like when you I don't know how to even explain this. When you look at, say, the past week, what's the most common thing that you've noticed on your end? Like, I've noticed many different things on my end, but
suddenly, like for a couple of weeks ago, it's just everybody on Gamergate, they're tweeting and that's it. And then suddenly for the past few weeks, like the last week especially, there was suddenly this influx of social justice warriors that are going to fill the Gamergate hashtag with absolute filth.
Yeah.
That's the first thing I noticed is that where are they all coming from? And secondly, I guess with the whole diagram mess and everything that came up, so.
All right, so I kind of noticed the same thing you have, especially with the social justice warrior thing. Now, there was one person that kind of sticks out of all these that I've witnessed, and I think he's an alt account for Alex. I'm pretty sure that's Alex's alt account. Like, I looked at the picture. It was like a purple avatar. It was like a picture of a guy with big glasses and like some feathers on his head. He was complaining, and I got the screenshots. In fact, I'll go ahead and I'll go into the screenshots. This guy made no sense, right? He sat there and he was like, "Oh, Gamergate this. They don't want to pay attention to me." So that right there proves that they're sexist and then they're misogynistic. I'm like, what? Like nobody was even paying attention to this guy. Like he wanted everybody and their brother to go at him. So I'm going to show you the screen cap because that's what I've been doing since everybody has been claiming harassment.
Yeah.
So I take screen caps when I have my involvements with these people, so that way they can't sit there and be like, "Oh, he harassed me." And I suggest everybody do this. I don't suggest that any one person not do this, especially when it comes to debating idiots.
Okay, because mostly what I do is that I just screen cap whenever there's something that I find funny when I debate with these people, and I post it so that people can have a good laugh.
Right. All right. Let's see. We'll bring this one up because this one was really interesting, and so we'll bring this one up. Oh, okay, cool. I'm gonna bring up this. Okay, his name is Bean. It's 10RD Ben.
10RD Ben?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He was really I want to say up the conspiracies anal
Oh,
like.
this guy called Benghazi? Benghazi? With the Taylor Swift picture on top. Yeah, I found him.
Oh, that yeah. So this is I'm gonna go ahead and share with our viewers what it is that he like to start. So screen share. We're gonna go ahead and go into this one first. All right. So I'm not sure if that actually came up good. All right. So it looks like it did. If they can read, if you guys could read this, check this out. All right. This is how this guy like puts himself out there.
Do you have the chat box open? Maybe that would be a bit more helpful, like on the YouTube or something. I don't know.
You are screen sharing, present to everyone. You are screen sharing and presenting it to everyone. Okay, is it? It should be up now.
Yeah,
Do you see it?
yeah, I think.
This.
Yeah, I do. Sorry.
Okay, she's a watch me, a cishet straight white male get next to zero abuse from gamer gators for saying they suck. Watch me. Like he's pretty much saying that he is exactly what most of these women like Anita and Leigh Alexander are stating. Uh, this is
This
one
is
that this is funny. This part's hilarious. He's like, "Thanks Gamergate for not using language like this against me, a man and only against women." B. Then he goes, with his Twitter or whatever, and he's all, "Thank you Gamergate for being respectful and non-abusive to me for 1 hour and proving my points that you're just abusive to women in games."
he's
Question.
baiting.
Yep, exactly. This is why I screen capped it because there's a lot of people like that over there.
Mm.
I I'm just like, why? Like, why are you begging for attention? We give you the attention to, the benefit of the doubt to debate you, and then you pull out like a little coward and you start blocking people. He immediately blocked me when I was being nice to him. I thought that was really funny. I was like, wait, why are you blocking me? I'm not harassing you. I'm just trying to have a better understanding of you. That's all. And he's all,
They
please
all
leave.
do that. They all do that. Remember
Mhm.
that male feminist I was talking to you about? He also blocked me. Not agreeing with him, which is, so much for respecting women.
Wow. Like,
But yeah,
it's really really annoying though. Like they want to sit there and be like, oh, they're misogynistic. Gamers are terrible people. Gamers are this. Gamers are that. But yet they're the ones that are on the fire on the lines firing over this way. You know what I mean? We're just trying to be like, hey, we want to understand what you're firing at before you start firing. That's pretty much what the whole gist of the situation is what, we're trying to understand you better, and yet you're still firing. What the hell? Like, where's this war at?
but honestly, this is I find this, social justice warrior thing to be very Orwellian. I mean, look at the whole listen and believe thing.
Hmm.
Like, geez, that's straight out of 1984 there.
I agree. The XOXO. So you want to talk about that a little bit?
Well,
Um,
it just shows that, it just shows that they won't accept anybody else that thinks differently to them.
Well, evidently there was a developer that had went to this XOXO, and I'm sure, as you know, XOXO is by invite only. They only hand out 1,000 invites every year,
Yeah.
um, and things have gotten so bad to the point where the guy had made a joke. It was a funny joke. Like, I don't even know. I don't even think it was that serious. Actually, it would be your typical joke that guys would say amongst each other at a bar or at a pool
Oh,
table.
oh wait. Is that are we talking about Donglegate?
I don't know if that's what that is.
Isn't that with this woman that is at a tech conference and she hears some guys in the back telling a joke?
Maybe, I don't know. I just heard like this guy made a joke at a pool table, and the guy he told it to was laughing, but I guess the bartender had overheard it or something.
Oh.
It was either a bartender or something at XOXO. Somebody had heard it. They went and reported it, and they pulled this guy's badge and told him to get out over it.
Okay, because the same thing happened. Okay, it's a different case, I guess, because you're talking about it's happening in a bar, but the story I have is something that happens at a tech conference that was about
Mm-hmm.
last year, I think, where there was this like there was this feminist that was sitting at the tech conference and she heard two guys behind her joking about forking dongles, and she flipped her shit over that, and she just basically tweeted to the conference organizers saying that there were two guys behind her. She took a picture of them, actually. She tweeted it to the tech conference organizers and said that there was these two guys joking about, about sex and being sexist and misogynist in the tech conference, and that actually got the two guys fired. And
Wow.
uh, yeah, and that got 4chan really mad over that, and so they started They start DDoSing the company that actually employed that woman, and by the end of it, the woman was fired. And then the feminists started going full out and crying misogyny in the tech industry.
Wow. That's insane. And real quick, I just want to address. Sorry, guys, about the lack of a stream chat. Like I said, um, I haven't hosted one of these in a while, and I went to try to enable it as I went live, and I guess I have to have it up first before I go live. So next time, I promise in episode 2, we will definitely have that going for you. Yeah, that's crazy though. Like, so they're going as far as these cons and these events. Like, it's gonna get to a point where these cons and events aren't even gonna be fun anymore. You know what I mean? It's not even.
Yeah.
It's gonna get to a point where every guy is gonna have to come in with a zipper on his mouth.
It's like going into some sort of Gestapo interrogation or something.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, you're just going there. You say one thing out of line, and you're getting dead. You're dead. It
Yeah.
reminds me of that Stalin conference, like when Stalin was actually giving a speech. That was, I think, in the 1930s. Basically, there was this man that clapped a bit afterward, like he forgot to stand up and clap compared to all the others, and he was sentenced to 20 years in Gulag.
What?
Basically, yeah, Stalin was giving a speech. Everybody stood up and clapped at the same time, except this old man because he was old and tired, and so he took a bit more time to stand up and clap. And he was sentenced to Gulag. And you know what? This entire social justice warrior thing, it reminds me exactly of that, especially the atmosphere that is currently in the tech industry.
That is crazy. That is so crazy. It's funny how you should say that. There was a developer that came out on video the other day. I'm sure you watched it. There's a lot of us that retweeted it, that continuously posted it. This
Yeah,
guy had said that there has been fear in the gaming industry for a long time. Now, being on the PR side of things, I never got to witness that. I never had to put up with it. I didn't have to
yeah,
worry about people bullying me or anything. I was pretty much in my own little world doing my own little thing. And the guy had stated that there has been fear of this sort of thing going on in the industry for a very long time. In fact, this whole movement has been a very much needed situation to occur. He said that this sort of thing has been going on for years. For like since
yeah.
like the first Nintendo had come out. Like, that's how long ago that this stems back to. Um, and I find that to be sad because, like, when you look at games, right? When you think about games and the stuff that you like to do in games, where it comes to like a fighting game, racing game, RPGs, whatever your flavor is in the gaming industry, you don't think about that stuff. You know what I mean? You don't think.
Mm.
Oh wait, hold on. Sorry, Connecticut. Can you restart the stream fast, maybe because I'm just spamming comments at the moment.
Well,
Um,
just comment, I guess, instead of chatting. Well, it's the same thing. I mean,
it's okay. I mean, it's the same exact thing. It's just it's a little bit more slower pace, and I can keep up with it little bit easier, anyways. Um,
that's actually a lot better than chats constantly because then the people would actually have to, you know, go at full out caps lock here.
hmm So like when you think about the games, right? You're thinking about like how you're gonna approach your target. You know, are you gonna play this game on the hardest difficulty to beat and get all the achievements? These are all things that encompass a gamer pretty much.
Yeah.
And when you hear about this sort of thing going on, it's really a damning thing. You know, it's like wow, like people are losing their jobs or they got kicked out of something that could have been fun that I wish I could have gone to. And for what? All because he made a comment. Like, come on.
Yeah,
Like
or
this
a
is
joke.
yeah.
A joke about forking dongles. How sexist is that?
It makes no sense to me, honestly. Like I cannot understand it, and that's another reason why I've told people don't go in on these people because in the end you're gonna look just like them. We're gonna call you know how because we refer to them as social justice warriors, right? We're like these are the people that go in on people over
Yeah.
stupid shit. And when we start doing that, we're going to be no different from them. You're not going to be able to tell a difference between a Gamergate or a SJW pretty soon if these guys don't stop doing that.
Yeah.
We're telling them not to go in on people. We're saying, you know, we're trying to, like me personally, that's why I don't go in on people. That's why I try to reason. That's why I try to use logic, and I try to be well spoken when I approach these people. Because 9 times out of 10, if I were to go in with a knee-jerk reaction and be pissed, I'm going to be accused of some sort of stupid shit like misogyny or I'm a sexist
Yeah.
or everything in the book. So.
But honestly, even if you try reasoning them, you're still going to get called a misogynist.
Yeah, but when people go back to reference my comments, they're
Yeah.
not going to see that. You know what I mean? They're going to see a well-spoken. Sometimes I can get a little annoyed on my page, which I post to myself. I don't post it towards people. But when they see me posting on somebody else's wall, they'll see a well-spoken individual that's not attacking anybody, but simply
Yeah.
just trying to reason with them. So.
Well, I guess behave better than your enemies do
Exactly.
to actually prove the point that you're actually beyond such petty insults and whatever.
Mm-hmm. That's the best way to go because, I've already been disagreed with by this approach by several of our fellow Gamergaters. I got quite a few people the other day that had responded to me when I was quoting Sun Tzu.
Mm.
And I was doing a lot of quotes from Sun Tzu this morning and yesterday about a war without bloodshed is the best war to win. And
Yeah.
that's the whole point, and that's my approach on this. Is like you got to try to be better than your opponents, because if you're not better than your opponents, and you get down into the dirt with them, then you are no better.
You're losing.
Mm-hmm. And
Yeah.
exactly, and that's what they do. That's why they have all these smear campaigns. Have you ever noticed the massive amount of smear campaigns on these sites that are about Gamergate? It's insane. There's so many now.
You know, it's like they're trying to get us mad so that we would have a slip up.
Exactly. That's
And
exactly the point.
And the thing is that I'm afraid that we are actually getting into some sort of slip up lately due to all the, all the division within Gamergate, and that's not a very good thing, right?
Yeah.
That we start attacking other people that also believe in Gamergate and yet happen to just have other beliefs that don't agree with us, which has nothing to do with Gamergate.
I
And
agree.
I hope that's going to be something that is going to stop, because then it's going to turn into some sort of massive just shit fest.
That's why like when I saw Milo post what he posts, it's like if Milo posts anything on his own wall, I don't care. You know what I mean? Like he could say whatever the heck he wants, but I guess Jenny had discovered that he had posted something against women or something about rape. Should there be some sort of rape, something about rape laws and stuff, or something like that he was against, and he posted that on his own wall. She was
Yeah.
trying. It seemed like she was trying to tie in Gamergate somehow to that, all because his voice is the loudest, regardless if it's on his own wall or not.
Yeah.
It seems like she's trying to connect it regardless, and that's another reason why I say don't pay attention to a lot of these type of people, because they're going to try to connect Gamergate to anything as long as people are willing to listen.
Yeah, definitely. And well, I mean, the proof is that Anita Sarkeesian does link her personal attacks, like the fact that she was attacked to Gamergate, which is completely not linked at all.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess they're trying to just pull out everything they have because they're at loss when it comes to arguments. They're actually trying to pull out things that happened a while ago just to justify themselves.
Right.
Now we all know that Milo is, a bit of a men's right activist.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, he's definitely one, but they try to pull that out into Gamergate, but Gamergate isn't. I mean, of course, it's a bit concerning that the fact that men are just being treated as criminals for simply being men, but Gamergate is mainly about corruption in the
Mhm.
gaming industry, so they try to pull this out to justify and just to claim that Gamergaters really hate women.
Right. Well, yeah, they're trying to what they're trying to do is they're trying to pull in your personal beliefs to be the over-encompassing outcome of which you're trying to pursue.
Mm.
That's the exact thing, and that's why a lot of people are coming at us in a different way as far as our Twitter profiles go. Because I post a lot of weird shit too. Like I'm no innocent. I post my weird crap. I have other battles that I'm fighting for that are that aren't just Gamergate. I have Janet
We
Bloomfield.
all do.
Yeah, Janet Bloomfield has introduced me to the wonderful world of women against feminism, and she's almost more feminism than any other person that I've ever talked to, and her beliefs are pretty astounding and pretty awesome, And I've talked to Leanna K on Twitter. Leanna K,
Mm.
when you put aside all the GG stuff, she's actually a pretty nice person. Like she is actually a pretty nice person. Like I've actually talked to her. I have nothing bad to say about her. I think some of the stuff that I think she's fallen into the same rhetoric that we've seen a lot of other SJWs fall into, and that's look at me, I've been harassed. Patreon. like,
And well, so what exactly happened with the whole Liana case? Because at first I thought she was sort of on our side, or she was at least willing to listen. I didn't really catch up on that.
so I'm not quite sure. I asked her to link me to some images on her harassment because I really wanted to get to the bottom of it. I don't see that's the thing. Like I don't condone any harassment of any kind. You know what I mean? Like if you wanna harass somebody, you wanna do okay, fine, do you, but be prepared for the fallout at the end. But don't bring down the movement because you wanna troll us. And I think that's what happened. I think there was a lot of alt accounts that didn't like her anyways, and
Yeah.
they threw in the Gamergate hashtag to harass her. But there's also some images that I got from her that where there was no Gamergate hashtag. It was just these guys going in on her, and it was like, well, it's really hard to prove if these guys are
But
tied to it or not. You know
yeah.
what I mean? And it seems like that's the general consensus is there is a lot of harassment going on, but very, very small amounts of it have really anything to do with Gamergate at all. So
Yeah. Okay, can I be right back? I have a phone call.
no, that's
Just
perfectly fine. No, that's good.
okay.
hmm
Thank you.
hmm Robin Gething. So for all you that are watching, what do you guys think? Like, do you guys think that do you guys see Gamergate movement ending anytime soon, or do you guys think it's going to continue on until we finally get that final resolve that we're all striving for? And do you think the diversity in this group is going to help us, and not having any sort of leadership and no sort of group dedicated to Gamergate will actually further us even further? I think it will. I think in the end, if there is an end to this. I think we're all going to kind of walk away from this knowing a great deal more about the industry as to where things are going. You know what I mean? I think it's really going to be awesome. Oh yeah, yeah. I'm sorry, Robin. I know you're watching. Like I said, man, I keep forgetting to look into this. Okay, let me get you in on this real quick. Can I talk to you guys about Leon? Okay. Absolutely. Let me get you in here. I have no beef with her, actually. I think she's a nice person. She's never treated me badly. She's never, trolled me or anything, as far as I know, anyway. And Leanna, if you're watching, I'm still waiting on more images for that, so that way I can address those people. Because, like I said, I don't condone your harassment whatsoever. That is uncalled for. All right. I gotta add you to this. Invite people. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna add you through Google real quick. Why isn't this going through, or is it waiting? Oh, okay. That's kind of weird. All right, Robin, I'm inviting you to chat. We're gonna get a second member into this and see what he has to say. And I hope you're not gonna troll me, man. This is a real conversation. I don't want to be trolled. Welcome, sir.
Greetings.
Hey, what's going on, man?
How you doing, man? I'm out of my hotel at the moment, so I'm in somebody else's hangout. I keep on ending up getting everybody coming to my hangout, so I thought I'd come and see you guys.
Oh, okay, absolutely. Welcome. What did you want to add about Liana?
Well, I don't know if you remember probably about the business with King of Pole mentioning it, and a few other guys talking about her sort of breaking down in tears on a live stream. Do you remember this?
Yeah, I remember. I remember her crying. Yeah, she was pretty upset.
That was my live stream.
Oh, that was your live stream.
So yes, it's all my fault.
How? So, what happened?
Well, on my stream, I basically have an open house policy for everybody. It's I create a small role-playing game for everyone to come into. The idea is that you walk into a hotel. There's a large lobby, a little bar over to the left-hand side.
Oh, I remember. Yes.
And smooth jazz playing in the back. Yeah, this is how we do it. You know, this is how I roll. And yeah, it was a bit of a what the plan was, which initially, of course, Liana K was just going to come on with other people, and we were just discussing the matter, discussing the situation, just shooting shit. She's a very knowledgeable person when it comes to computer games, and we had a few guys who are very knowledgeable about that too, and that we had a great old chat about all of that sort of business.
Yeah.
But this whole live stream took about 4 hours, 4.5.
I remember I had to skip through some parts because it was a lot of dead zones.
Well, it's a lot of the time dead zones, as in just information about Gamergate as such. But really, you've got to remember that we've got people with personality here, and we're just shooting shit.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You're in a bar having a drink, you know. That's the situation, to make it nice and easy going for everybody to be able to relate their information in a nice, calm.
Yeah, I didn't recognize. Okay, I recognize your voice. I just didn't recognize the picture.
Oh right, okay. Yeah, I'm usually in the bottom right. I don't know what corner I'm in on that one. You see the format that I've sort of set up there. We've got 8chan running. You've got Burger and Fries is now up on there as well. We've got the Twitter running. We've got sort of like the YouTube channel there as well. So all of the inputs and outputs that come into this stream are actually broadcast with the stream as well, and thus that allows for everybody in the world to see it within its context as well. So while we're talking away and chatting to each other, and Liana's saying her thing, I'm saying my thing, this person's saying that, and whatever like that, it started to sort of graduate towards a more of a question and answer thing going on, where people were coming in and asking questions of Lania K about the situation, and people on Twitter asking that, and people on the YouTube channel asking that, to the point where I'm going, does anyone else have a question for Liana K? It had sort of molded into this Q&A with Liana K, and that was probably in the second hour by that point. And for that first hour, it was very productive.
Yeah.
The problem was, I feel more than anything else, is that there are some people that may have had a little bit of a grudge against her. There is also the sort of like, you know, that we've got this feminist, anti-feminist vein running through the Gamergate sort of scenario, which
Right.
I think you said it yourself, is essentially a side issue, a surrounding issue. It certainly is a symptom of the problem, but it isn't necessarily the origin of the problem.
Yeah.
That's how I'm looking at it. When people talk about the degradite, you know, whatever they want to pronounce it. I consider that to be a symptom of how easy it is for people to collude within the media circles right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And essentially, Leanna Kay was explaining to people what the other side thought of us, what the other side saw of us, because she is a freelance journalist and she has a little bit of contacts within that sort of circle. So she was explaining to us what the other side was saying. And I think a lot of people coming into this conversation thinking that she was defending them against Gamergate. And things started to blow up. I believe Jade, what's her name? Jade Fox, is it?
Yeah, Jade3 Fox.
Jade3 Fox. I think she's got a little bit emotional about the whole thing. I think both her and Leanna Kay have some sort of personality dispute. I don't know or care. But that did circle around near the end bit of it. When it really went bad for Leanna more than anything else was, if you can imagine, after 4.5 hours of making some pretty heavy topics and answering the questions to the best of her ability, it comes under a bit of a strain. After 4.5 hours of people questioning me, I'd be a little ratty.
Right.
And, I didn't know this at the time because I was just setting up for a second video because this was just going on and it was too good to miss. And I didn't want to go over the four-hour mark. Really, I just wanted to keep it in some sort of semblance of organisation. And while I'm busily doing this, somebody asked a rather an asinine, or at least makes a rather asinine point, and it's just basically just taking the piss out of the fact that she'd said something very, she'd said something slightly out of context by, and she even backtracked as she was doing it. But then, you just get people picking. And if you can imagine, an irritable person being irritated gets irritated.
Naturally. Yeah.
Naturally. This is what people are like. And it's the... I think more than anything else, that was really where it all went awry. I was really upset more than anything else, than anything, is that video there was it had loads of information that people haven't concentrated on because they keep on skipping to the point where they see a girl in tears.
Yeah.
That disappointed me greatly from on my side of the fence on this.
Right.
I've also felt that people have put themselves in this position of saying that she's with them, and so they've got this idea that they've got to attack, as though it's not the way forward here. More than anything.
Right.
You need to calm down. Everybody needs to calm down.
Exactly. No, exactly. I completely agree. And I've said this before. And the only reason why I even use that distinguishing point of this, us and them, is because that's just a common fallacy of what everybody else is used to.
It's the battle mode.
Right.
That means everyone gets to pick their side.
Exactly. And and like I said, I only do it so that way I can better explain things. I
was talking to Pole about this just a minute ago, King of Pole. Because he'd actually put a small video of that actual excerpt up there, and I had to sort of take him. I didn't really take him to task, but I did say I was a bit disappointed with the fact that he hadn't really put the context in and just sort of put the video out there. But as I say, if he'd have actually put the context in, he would have probably ended up making his video last about an hour and a half longer than normal. So it is different. It is difficult within this medium if you are just going to skip across. But then again, it is difficult for you to go through the swathes of information in order to understand its context as well. And I'm at the moment, my longest session so far has been 12 hours.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, we've had a 12-hour session, and that was that was a very productive one with a chap called Bitcoin Bill, where we basically go through the various concerns of somebody who considers themselves a pro-feminist and anti-Gamergate. Did you notice that I used two terms there?
Yeah.
because you can be,
Mm.
you don't necessarily have to be pro Gamergate to be anti-feminist, and you certainly don't have to be anti-feminist to be pro Gamergate.
Right.
If you see what I mean, these are two
Gamergate
separate
isn't
issues. Yeah, and that's really
Gamergate
where I.
isn't supposed to be linked to. I mean, what I meant is Gamergate is not supposed to be linked to feminism or whatnot. It's just supposed to be about corruption.
Yeah, I mean, somebody can. I think probably the best way to describe it is that everyone's blaming the match and not blaming the fact that there was all this Tinder lying around.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And the whole business with Digra and Digra and things like that, I would state that this is a symptom of the problem rather than the origin of the problem itself. This is one major issue, yes, but to resolve the problem rather than try and just basically wipe our noses, and that would be it, because the collusion would still be there, the padding of gaming would still be there, and this would allow for, whether it be from the left or from the right, new people to come in anyway. So these people, maybe we could swap them, for example, and they're gone, but then the framework in which they were allowed to thrive in the first place is still there and present, and that's the actual danger, because it allows for this to happen over and over and over again. We were discussing this on like a private chat, but I'm quite open about everything on this one, and I say that we need to sort of like look towards the positive and concentrate a little less on the negative. I've been trying to encourage everybody who runs their own streams or run their own sites to get everybody running around and talking about each other.
Right. Right.
Get the personalities out there. Get the people who are, let people lose and win depending on whether they're entertaining, on whether they're actually informative, on whether they're able to grab their audiences that way. And if everyone's going around each other's streams and stuff like that, and we're all sort of like bigging up each other's streams, we all get traffic. We all get all of these people paying attention to us. You get some new followers. You get my followers. I get yours. If they're interested, of course. But the idea is that we build something to replace these people with, and then they will just dissolve into irrelevance anyway.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to explain earlier. Is like that's one thing I've always been trying to do. Is I'm more of a bridge builder. I've always been a bridge builder when it comes to these sort of situations, especially in this industry. I've never, my job has always been to connect the audience to the creators. That's something I've always done, and that's something I'm kind of doing right now with Gamergate. Is I'm trying to get people connected with both sides, so that way there is no other side. This whole thing started off as being a gamer, and the whole meaning of being a gamer in itself is exactly what it is. A gamer, it's sideless, it's emotionless,
there are no sides.
Yeah, exactly.
There is no
and just be exactly. And that's one thing I've always tried to preach. And I get my disagreements through fellow members of Gamergate on Twitter, but that's fine. They can disagree with me. It's perfectly all right. It's natural to disagree with something that you're against. You've had a certain belief on what you should be against this whole time, and you have someone like me trying to bridge that. That's fine to disagree with me. It's perfectly all right. And that's why I talk to people like Jenny, and I talk to people like Leanna, because I don't think that they at the end of the day are 100% about this, Like I've talked to Jenny about Guild Wars 2. She loves Guild Wars 2. She's got an elementalist. We're going on about that for a while.
I mean,
and if you can keep it gaming,
she's like a tank, isn't she? As far as data and information about computer gaming, she'll just blast anyone else.
Dude, she's got a lot of good information about being.
Don't want to lose that. I was saying to her, she's actually got quite a good voice for radio and sort of like talk shows and things like that. She should do that, for God's sake.
Yeah, she does do that. Actually, I listened to her last podcast that she just had, and she was explaining about like the whole situation as its entirety, and it doesn't really, in like the way she used her words and the way she talked, it didn't really seem like she was against us, but she wasn't exactly for us. You know what I mean? Like she didn't really disassociate herself from the group or from the pack, but you could definitely tell that she was a bit annoyed. But that's natural.
I'll put it down to the fact that she is in fact a journalist, and you've got to understand that her in her position right now, she's done like an article for Polygon. I think that's her only sort of link to these people, and the article itself was actually more of a balanced article saying you can't really lump all gamers in and call them misogynists and all this sort of business. But she is telling us that, certain things, and you really should have a look at that video before it all blows up, yeah, and actually listen to what she was talking about, the motivations of journalists who are in those circles and what they're trying to do or what they're trying to achieve. In many of the cases, it's keeping their jobs and keeping their salary going, so they've got, you know, they've got mortgages to pay, they've got bills, you know,
Well,
they
right.
need to have some sort of framework for them to come on board.
But here's the first thing that everybody, like, I really wish people like would try to like put this in perspective and really stop trying to do this, and that's to lump in what a contributor is to Polygon versus what an actual paid salary employee is for Polygon. And from what I was to understand, she's only a contributor, and contributors can pretty much say and do anything as long as it gets the site's numbers, and they won't be regulated as strictly as a paid employee.
And she explained to Lana Kay, Alexander Lee, Lee Alexander. What am I saying? I'm losing my mind here, man.
That's all right.
Yeah, but yeah, she explained why Lee Alexander is such a toxic person, and because her toxicity, you know, the reason that she's the way that she is because it gets clicks. She gets clicks, so this is encouraging this bully mentality within her. And what it's doing is, of course, is because she gets attention, whether it's negative or positive, matters not to an advertiser. You know, it's getting the clicks. That's what matters.
Basically, now, she's been baiting us all along, eh?
Well, yes, of course. But now it's obviously coming to bite her in the ass. And, you know, now she's sort of like sitting there, poor old me, I'm being picked on because I'm a woman.
Yeah.
But see, and that's right there is where we got to draw the line. When is it a publicity stunt, and when is it actual personal belief?
Well, this shows
that is the distinguish. Huh?
Well, this just shows you how certain people view feminism. Some people view feminism as a tool, and other people view feminism as an ideal. Some people look at feminism, they say, if I say I'm a feminist, I get all these feminist friends, and I can utilize them. You know? I consider most of the feminists that we've met recently as flying monkeys, in the sense that they're being picked on us by somebody who is media savvy, a clickbaiting sort of a personality, and are using their contacts, using their fan base as essentially as a tool of harassment.
Yeah.
You know, and then they go and hide behind harassment when it comes to bite them in the ass. You know.
Yeah. The thing is, though, like, being clickbaity, right? I get that, but you have to really, like, I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, how much is it just clickbait? Because there was some racist stuff that I've seen her post, and I'm trying to understand. And I'm trying to understand, like, is that just clickbait, or does she truly believe these things?
Let me ask you a question. If you wholly disagree with what she's just said, and you go down to the website and you make a comment, and then somebody replies to you, and then you reply back to them, that advertiser's just got 6 clicks out of it.
Yeah, no, I understand. No, I understand the whole premise of clickbaiting. Don't get me wrong, but I'm saying, like, the way she handles herself on her site, and then you see her get on Twitter, you have to wonder, like, how much of this is clickbait and how much of this is how she truly feels as an individual.
Well, I think that she is basically a perpetual drunk. I've met people at this sort of emotionally and sort of alcoholically unstable before, and the defensive mechanisms kick in pretty early with them. You know, it's essentially, you know, it's guilting people into shutting the fuck up. It's like, you know the idea when somebody says you're blaming the victim.
Yeah.
You've heard of this expression.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever heard of the expression of what's the word? Concerned troll.
Yep.
Yeah.
These two particular phrases are antithesis, essentially, of free speech. Because what they're saying is, for example, if you call somebody a concern troll, what you're saying is, I just basically said something really offensive to somebody, And I'm not, and you're telling me that I'm not allowed to say that. Go fuck yourself. I'm going to continue being offensive. Whether I'm wrong or right, it doesn't matter. You're just saying that because you want me to stop talking. In other words, no matter what I say, whether it is offensive or not, I'm going to say it anyway. Okay? I'm going to be wrong. I'm going to be wrong, and I'm going to use whatever somebody says against me to just say, "Oh, you're a concern troll," and just basically discount what they have to say, regardless. Just by doing that, and then it's of no consequence within your argument. You can carry steamrollering along. But the other aspect of that is to say the blame the victim thing, and it's like, well, hang on a second, didn't this person get attacked first and then attacked back? And it's, no, you're just blaming the victim here. And it's like somebody, imagine somebody going into a cave and somebody says, "Dude, don't go into that cave. There's a bear in there." And they go in there with a stick and start poking the fucker, and then come out and say, "I'm missing a face." It's like, well, why did you fucking go in there? And go, "Don't blame me, blame the bear." It's like, well, he was just sitting there in his cave, minding his own fucking business. You went in there and started poking the fucker. It's your own fault. You're just
blaming.
This isn't like rape allegations. You know what I mean?
Oh, and that's another thing that's been coming up, and I think we should bring up in this episode is rape culture. That has been a very popular thing now for the past week. What is up with this? Like, I didn't even know this existed until I started seeing the he for she posting and women for feminism posting, and then like I've even seen some Gamergaters talk about this. You guys want to weigh in on this?
Well,
yeah, but like, didn't you? I mean, this rape culture thing has been something that has been bubbling on for at least 2 years now.
I didn't even know that.
Longer. Much longer, guys. If you've been more interested in gaming and gaming press and stuff like that, this has been going on for forever. Back in the 1990s, we had rad femmes who would actually openly say every man is a potential rapist.
Well, wasn't there this very well-known radical feminist? I forgot her name, but she did write a book in which...
Not that well-known, then.
Well-known in radical feminist circles, but she did write a book in which she claims that even consensual sex in a marriage is rape and abiding to the patriarchy.
Does anybody remember 9/11 conspiracy theories that came out after that happened?
Yes. There's
Anybody
quite a
notice?
few.
Yeah, but did anybody notice when it started to die down? You got some really weird and out of the top and over the top sort of conspiracy theories. Like, there's no plane, man. It's just the angles are wrong on the video. Yeah, they just put a plane in there. Those millions of people that saw the plane go into there, they were just being fooled. And crap like this, the no plane argument. Have you ever heard of this expression?
Yeah.
The no plane. This is the sort of feminism that we're talking about. I'm bored and I've got nothing left to write about feminism, so now I have to fucking just make shit up.
Third wave feminism.
Yeah, they're just basically garnishing feminism now. They're just trying to make it look at, just give it a new sort of like, it's like the Chinese people with a salad, They're just trying to make it just look a little bit more exotic because their irrelevance is showing. It's like Christianity trying to get sort of like fundamentalist Christians trying to get themselves into schools. They're actually putting themselves into places of irrelevance and thus proving how irrelevant they are without realizing. It's a belief system. Radical feminism is a belief system. It isn't. If you listen to these people and you say to them, well, there is such thing as sexual dimorphism, they just don't admit to that. They just think that it's some sort of patriarchal shit, as though, oh no, that's just a man telling you that. You're mansplaining.
Well, actually, I read this article about radical feminism, and it was actually about sexual dimorphism, and they basically say that the fact that sexual dimorphism is a thing, that women are smaller than men, it's because there is some sort of discrimination going on. When the woman is pregnant and she gets to know that she has a daughter, she will eat less and she will feed her daughter less, then her daughter will grow up to be automatically smaller than a man.
And this was done on what study exactly? She was
I don't
studying
know,
her
but
own
hey,
anus.
it's Sweden.
Yeah, she was studying her own anus. That's what she was studying. To get that sort of
And
information, you really have to draw it out of your backside.
but you know, Swedish radical feminists actually believe this is a thing.
Yeah, Norwegian feminists as well are absolutely enraged by Norwegian society for proving them wrong. And they just think, well, they're just sexist then, obviously.
See, what's funny is I didn't even know all this even existed until Gamergate. I didn't know there were such things as first, second, third. I didn't even understand that there was actually things called rad fins.
It was none of your business. It was none of your business, mate.
Right.
That's the thing. Now get the fuck out of my gaming prep.
Yeah, listen to this guy.
That's the point. It is nothing to do with us.
Right. Now that but here's the thing. But like, since I've become aware of it, and now that I'm kind of grasping, I guess you'd say, trying to understand, because there's so many different, sublets, there's so many divides, there's so many different terms for feminism. It's crazy, and that's one of the reasons why I never kept up with it.
I could explain it in, thusly. First and second wave feminism was really about bringing rights
Equal
forward
rights.
legally. Yeah, rights forward legally for women in general, so that they had an equal standing within the law with men, whether it comes to jobs, whether it comes to property, marriage, all that sort of thing. And they've done that. They've done that really well, and I'm really happy for it. I mean, in the 1990s, you're talking to a guy who, back in the sort of like the 80s and late 70s and stuff like that, this sort of sexism, racism, this was about. I mean, the generations before us were sexist and racist in many cases.
Yeah.
Not on the whole, but there was a certain underlying vein. Most people in my generation, when I was growing up, I was questioning this sort of avenue of discourse, and we would sort of, if I say it to any of my mates who are black, I'll say to them, "Have you experienced racism?" And they're like, "Yeah, I've experienced a bit of racism." I said, "But not as much as me, because I'm a white guy." And they're like, "What the hell do you mean by that?" And I go, "Well, guess who all these other white racists were talking to? They don't talk to you. They don't say it to you. No, they just do it behind your back, and I have to fucking suffer all this racism and sexism. Bloody women, bloody blacks, bloody this, that, and the other. And I'm turning around to these people and going, no, you fucking don't, mate. Stop being a douche.
Right.
So we're at this point through the 90s where egalitarianism flourished, and feminism found itself in this rather problematic point. Is that it's like, I was saying it's a bit like the Women's Institute. They were saying, well, we can't be exclusive just for women, so let's include the men in it. Let's include, say, blacks in it. Let's include, everybody. Let's get everybody under the same umbrella as feminism. And as an egalitarian, I'm sitting there kind of going, well, I'm afraid that job's already been taken. We have the word already specified. It's called egalitarianism. You don't need feminism. Could we maybe change it to masculinism? Would you mind that? And a feminist will turn around and go, no, but that's because the patriarchy have been sort of like, in charge of all of this for all this time. And I'm saying, so what you want to do is reverse that, so that we have some sort of matriarchal system. Is that what you're after? And it's like, well, no. When I say, well, why call it feminism? Why put yourself under that particular flag? I was saying to, he's saying to me, I believe in equal rights for everybody, all that sort of. He goes, so you're a feminist? I go, no, I'm not. You are a feminist, and your definition of feminism is egalitarianism. That's the difference. Feminists are now putting themselves to be sort of like the overall, we're egalitarian. We decide for you what egalitarianism means. And most of the world is kind of going, go fuck yourself, girl. That's I think is the premise of what's going on with feminism at present, is that it actually has realized that it is now becoming irrelevant and is basically trying to tack itself on in various chapters to various things in order for it to not lose its irrelevance. Look at Atheist Plus. Do you know about this?
I heard about that, and I kind of looked into it a little bit, and I started laughing, and I was thinking to myself, like, this is really a thing?
Yeah. This is Gamer Plus. This is what they're doing. They're Gamer Pluses. They're trying to split up the herd so that they're, oh, you're a feminist, are you? Well, then you're with us. You're not with them. You're not with the misogynistic gamers. You're with the feminist gamers where we all play Farmville. I mean, I don't know if
Franco.
they're going to, I think people were talking about this is that certain things in sociological circles don't necessarily work in the real world because there's this thing called money, and they'd really love to get rid of the whole idea of bartering, all that sort of thing, because then we could have all these bizarre sort of social constructs, and it's money that's stopping it. No, actually, it's because you're a moron. You know, it's the idea that imagine if you're a guy, yeah, and you've spent your entire life trying to fight for equal rights for everyone, including women and any other race, color, creed, whatever. I'll protect a Christian even though I'm an atheist. I will protect a female because even though I'm a guy. I do not look at it in this way. I am all inclusive to everybody.
Of
I'll
course.
talk to a racist. I'll talk to somebody
Exactly.
from the KKK. I won't say, yeah, I agree fully with what you've got to say, but I will let you say it and then tell you how much of a dick you are. That's
Right.
the difference.
Right, and somebody asked me the difference of what it was that I was trying to do as being a bridge builder, and I was telling people, I said, I may not always agree with you, and I may not even support what it is you're trying to say as a racist or as a sexist or any sort of feminism that you want to believe in, but I will fight for your right to believe in what you want to believe in because it is your own life. You're allowed to believe these things if you wish to believe them.
Yeah, but I will explain. I will explain to you exactly why you're a moron. I won't just call you one.
Exactly.
And then not listen to you.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I think that's the major problem with right now what's transpiring with Gamergate. We have too many people that are trying to change how other people believe instead of just saying, "Hey, you know what? Let's talk. Let's have a reasonable conversation." No,
Well,
they
that's
want
the
to.
problem.
But right now they just want to. Right now they just want to rely on knee-jerk reaction and going at people in the way they are, and that's not helping anything.
Yeah, that's what actually the rad femmes are trying to do, because what they want to do is they want to turn it into a clash of ideologies. They don't want for Gamergate to be concentrating on the fact that the gaming press has become so collusive that their little pally system that they've been working on for the last few years may collapse because of it. So what they're trying to do is big up the noise, big up the oh yeah, you just don't like women. That sort of thing, in order to basically, and it has encouraged misogynists to come in and side with Gamergate. It has encouraged anti-feminists to come in and side with Gamergate. It has encouraged people who are men's rights activists to come in and side with Gamergate. I understand that at least. It has also encouraged right-wingers to come in as well, because it's a big poke in the eye for the left. Mm-hmm. These are all motivational forces, but none of these people are actually necessarily wholly Gamergate people. They're just a fringe element that is using Gamergate and the actual issue itself for their own purposes.
Right.
And we have, yeah. I mean, somebody. I'm saying that, and somebody goes, "Well, you're splitting us up, man. You're splitting us up." And you go, "No, actually, you're splitting us up, because what we're talking about is the fact that we have collusive." A collusive network in journalism right now, where we've got gatekeepers, and these gatekeepers are allowing people in, like, I don't know, radical feminists, or people that they know are their mates, or people that they know have friends in other circles, so they can get their little networking system going for themselves, and it's all just a great big circle jerk. And it means that the people who are any good, whether they have this particular political bent or not, aren't actually getting into that meritocracy, because this is the kings and queens thing. You inherit your success within the gaming world if you've got enough friends, or you've been born into the right circles. And this is one of the things that we've never really been keen on in gaming, Right. And that situation is the thing that needs to be addressed. Once that is addressed, the idea of radical feminists coming in and exploiting it will not be a problem, because they won't be able to get past the firewall. That means that people who are trying to buddy their way through the system won't get anywhere. Mm-hmm. They have to actually bring out some decent stuff and not just bullshit their way through. That's what we need. Once you've done that, once we've cleaned our own garden, once we've tidied up our own, all those other people that are looking at our garden will see, oh, look, they tidied up their garden. Maybe it's time I cleaned up mine.
You would hope that that's how it would play out, but I
Well,
got a feeling you
that's my
wouldn't.
game plan, bud. You know.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It sounds like an awesome game plan, but unfortunately, it's not just our side that's experiencing what we're experiencing. It's theirs as well. When you, like I said, I only utilize sides as a way of discussing this.
Well,
Um,
as I've said, with if you have a look at some of my videos, have a look at the amount of people that have viewed it. It's gone from a couple of hundred people up to like about 2,000, 3,000. Guess which one of those was the 3,000 one?
which one?
It was the one with Leanna Kay being
Mm,
on fire.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So this is the problem as well, is that people are too prone towards going towards the conflict as it is.
Yes, unfortunately, and I can only hope that people, as time goes on, and they see more videos like this, like yours, like anybody else that does these sort of things. I hope the message finally gets across to a point where we could finally move forward from all this little pettiness, this little stupid crap here on Twitter, getting in these little Twitter battles, judging one another
Precisely.
over our preferences. If we can just get over all the small shit, we can then truly have a fight towards ethics and our journalism. I
I
mean,
mean, I
that's
don't
the
know.
only time it's going to actually happen.
Yeah, I don't know how many people are listening to this right now, but
About 27,
about 27. I'm sure these are big movers and shakers.
31.
But I say this to anybody who's listening right now. The real point of this is that we don't want to have this sort of scenario going on, regardless of who does it. And if we pick on who does it rather than the actual framework within with what they're actually being able to exploit, then we don't actually cure the problem. All we're doing is wiping our nose, but still having the cold.
Yep.
We got to get our bed rest in. We got to get some orange juice down us. We got to actually solve the problem, and then we won't have our runny noses anymore.
Absolutely.
It's just an overall. If you cut out, people are trying to go for the head of the snake. Yeah, you could just put a cattle grid down, and the snake isn't going to come in at all.
And I think one of the biggest issues is like some people are actually viewing this as an actual war. We're talking like real war. Like people are really getting into this whole situation for where you go into it with good intentions, right? You go into this whole situation with good intentions of trying to speak your mind, trying to make sure that you're heard, and then you slowly start to devolve yourself. You don't really notice it because you're not paying attention. You're too busy fighting the good fight, as most would say, until the very end. And then you start noticing things about yourself that's starting to reflect in which you yourself are fighting against. And
if
that's
you're
what I'm
not
trying to
self-aware,
prevent. Yeah.
yeah, if you're not self-aware, you can easily fall into that position where your confirmation bias becomes your ruler, and the worry for it is his ego gets in the way. When you're not able to question yourself and you are terrified of showing yourself up to have been wrong. I've said things to people that I've regretted nearly instantly afterwards, and
Yep.
I've apologized instantly afterwards, and it's usually misspoken, a turn of phrase that I could have done better at. But when you do it and you apologize for your mistake immediately, yeah, the mistake is gone. And people actually will respect you more for owning up to the fact that you've made that mistake. You take on the information that person is. If you think that they are, saying that you've made a mistake here because it doesn't agree with my ideology, you'd say, well, I think it's your ideology that's sort of tainting that offence. And if you are offended, go fuck yourself. But when if you have misspoken, there's no point running with it just to save your own ego.
Right.
Because we end up in these sort of spells. And I encourage you, and I encourage everybody who's doing any of these live streams to make it a lot more entertaining, to make it a lot more fun, to invite some personalities on, get the people on the whitelist that you even know, ask them to go and see me, ask them to go and see your other people that are on streams, and get a big old scene going here, where you've got loads of these streams where there's loads of these people that will become recognizable faces in the future. Yeah, and let the cards fall where they may. I mean, I'm just some guy doing a thing in my room here, basically, allowing people to have a voice, allowing people to have a say and stuff like that. I haven't got a Patreon account. I'm unemployed, so I don't know how long I'm going to be able to make this last for. Okay, but what I'm trying to do is allow for people to promote themselves, just like a talk show, guys. You know, if you don't want these people, this established set of people to say what you know, to hijack the narrative and get everything like that, well, then you hijack it yourself. You have to take advantage of the situation and get the coders that are working on their games to talk about their new games. Get you know, magazine editors to come in and talk about their magazines, so that we have this network, this replacement for this. So, you know, once the forest is burnt, the new shoots will come up on their own, but they still need looking after. They need a bit of water. They need a bit of earth. They need a bit of mollycoddling to get them on their feet. So, you know, so if you're looking to do this on, you know, as a regular thing and stuff like that, you want to get a couple of hundred people in here, don't you?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I say to anyone who's listening to this who knows me, you know, please subscribe to this channel. Anyone who's subscribed to Gamergate right now, please go over to my channel and subscribe to me. And I will get anyone who's coming onto my channel to putting down their Twitter feed. I'm making sure people know who they are so they can find out about them themselves. Get everybody to know about everybody. And
yeah, that's what I've been trying to do. I retweet people.
They'll just dissolve into irrelevance.
By the way, there is somebody that's asking if your past streams are available.
They are all available for you to look at, yes.
On your channel?
On my channel, yes. If you have a look down, all of those. I think I've got one that the jazz is obviously not exactly copyright free, so I do get a few copyright issues coming up with it. I found if I turn the music down to a degree that's not really being picked up, I can get away with it. But some of the times I've had the music on a bit too loud, and I've got a few copyright violations. To anybody who's a little worried about that, for me, no, they haven't got to me. No, it was just simply the fact that the jazz was too loud and people were complaining. So all of the copyright violations that I've had have been due to the fact that I am playing copyrighted music in the background. It's nothing to do with any feminist conspiracy. I'm 37, mate. So I'm not. You know, I've come over this. You know, this is how it goes. I mean, you know, how old are you?
31.
31. So you're now, you've just breached you're now into what they would call the generation gap, where when somebody sort of talking to you about sort of Lady Gaga and whatever like that, and you just want to go, who the fuck is this? And they go, what? You don't know who Lady Gaga is, and you just hold up your hand and go, no. And you know what? It feels great.
Yeah.
Don't spoil that for me. You know. And it's
Okay.
Absolutely.
you know what I mean, Julie?
Yeah, but well, I'm 20, so.
Oh right. So I think I'm hoping that we can help you through that before it actually affects you. Because everyone goes through this spell. I mean, you know, for example, you know, have you ever gone through?
You know what?
Julie.
I would personally be glad to go through this spell, because there's a lot of things I learned today that I do not want to know about, and that I wish I've never learned about in the first place.
You can never unlearn. But I would say this to you, Julie, is that you can learn from others' mistakes quite well. You know.
Yeah.
You can always find out what not to do.
Yeah.
That's always the easiest way to go forward.
And like the whole scheme of things, if you really look at this whole scheme of things, isn't that really what this is all about?
Yeah.
If you think about it, that's really what this really is all about, is to like give notice to what is wrong and make sure that we don't practice that in the future, so that way this doesn't come up again.
Yeah, I was sort of looking at some, you know, we had some of the Not Your Shielders and the ladies from Gamergate, and I would say that's great, because it's, you know, for any women who just want to talk to women, for example, in that sort of space, that's cool. But don't just put yourselves just in that one place, guys. Spread yourselves around. I have open invites to my live feeds. I suspect there are plenty of people that will be happy to have you guys on. Jump about, jump in there, get yourselves known. Allow yourself to be, you know, used for hits, and get somebody to use you for hits. So In other words, we don't get loads of hits just because we've got something really nasty to say, or that something really nasty has happened. But we've actually got some sort of following because there's stuff, people want to hear what you guys have got to say. I'm trying to trim down my times down to something that's, what's the word, sustainable.
Right.
I'm thinking of trying to go just before Pole on the evenings. I think he starts at about 8 o'clock EST. So that would be me finishing at about 1 o'clock in the morning, I believe. So I would like to knock my 6 odd to 12 odd hours down to a couple, and that means there's somebody who wants to do sort of like an internet calendar, so that people can broadcast when they're going to put their stuff on there. So it's more of so nobody interferes too much with each other. I don't really care about people overlapping and stuff like that. I think that's perfectly acceptable. People can see whatever they want to see.
It's funny you should mention that. That's exactly what I was.
Good idea.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was trying to do with this today, is to make sure, because I was like looking for Poll and I was looking at IA to make sure that they weren't doing any sort of stream today, so that way I wasn't, coming into a dead zone. Because I know these videos, like your videos, I've done this before. I know these Google Hangouts, they do get their views over time, even if it's not live or not. People will come in, watch it, and look for whatever it is that they came there to look for. So I'm not really worried about the viewership at all. It was just that's my exact my thing too, is I want to try not to overlap with people, and if like Poll or somebody has their stream up, I'm going to go ahead and back down and wait until they're over with and then put mine up.
Yeah, it's really important that people get this information out there. The reason that I did it in the way that I've done it is to give people a historical record, an archival record of that actual time within Gamergate as it is. So over that week, you've got all of the Twitter feed going in there. You've got the IRC chat channels as well, so people can see a warts and all. A real proper cross section of what Gamergate is about, and we've had people from all kinds. In some cases we've had some really good talks. In other cases it's been productive to the point of unproductive. So we've had a bit of vitriol thrown around, but in general, I think it's been a good thing for people to see us all as people. We're not monsters.
It would actually be fun if we actually make some sort of stream calendar, sort of like a TV program where people would just be able to enter whenever they have a stream or something, so that, like you said, it doesn't overlap with each other. Yeah, so maybe that would actually be something we should work on, because that seems like it would, then the audience wouldn't be separated. People would actually be able to attend the stream today without having to be distracted by another stream or whatever.
Precisely. And by the way, guys, I'm gonna dash now. But it's been really great talking to you guys. If you want to come over onto my stream, just keep an eye out when I pop it up there. I'll give you my Twitter, my little Twitter thing on here at RSOLGTP. There you go, guys. Follow me, and I'll follow you.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Let's circle jerk together.
All right, Robin. It was great having you on, buddy.
No worries, guys. No worries. Like I said, let's get that network going, yeah. And these people won't be of any relevance anyway. They'll be just a historical record, if anything.
Absolutely.
Take it easy, guys. See you soon.
Thanks for coming, buddy.
Yeah. Thanks.
Bye.
Well, that was refreshing.
Yep. He has a lot of things to say.
Yeah, I could tell. I was like, we were both trying to talk, and I was like, all right, all right.
Well, at least a lot more than I do. Because he seems to be.
Well, I was gonna say, was there anything that you wanted to add to any of this, real quick?
Well, not really, but I mean, I didn't really follow all the personal Twitter drama, anything that was with Liana K or like Jenny. I really didn't follow that, so a lot of what he said was actually quite a revelation. I mean, the only thing I know about Jenny is that I watched that stream she had with the Sargon of Akkad, and that was a huge mess. So that's about it, really.
That was pretty horrendous. I watched that whole thing. That was horrendous. And
that was horrible.
the thing he didn't notice was like Ginny actually foreshadowed him at the very beginning, and I knew she was going to pick up from where she was leaving off from the beginning towards the end, and that's exactly what she did. And I was like, oh man, like he should have just hit every question as soon as he could instead of allowing her to jump from point to point. And that's what she does.
Yeah.
That's her whole game. I know I've debated people with her like that are like her numerous of times to know
Hmm.
that you have to hit that point right then and there, or she's going to continuously keep moving around.
Mm. And so it ended up with, I think there was the King of Poland there too, no? Well, they both
Yeah,
ended up in,
King of Pole was it until like towards the end.
and it was like borderline a screaming contest by the end of it.
Yeah, that was kind of awkward. Yeah, it was a little weird. Like King of Pole got really mad, and I could see he was getting a little irritated. And when it comes to situations, especially with Jenny, you can't get mad at them. You have to like still approach them with a really good constitution. Because if you don't approach them with a really good constitution, then everything that you're trying to argue goes out the window. And that's exactly is what happened.
Requires a lot of patience there.
Yes, it does. I've gotten into it with her on Twitter quite a few times, and I've literally like I've told her to just tag me out of stuff so that way that I don't have to continue with her, because
Yeah.
I mean we've had conversations on Twitter that would go on for literally hours. She is like a Twitter queen, okay? She is on there more than possibly anybody else I know.
Okay, because like I said, I don't really follow all of these things, and I mean, I don't really confront people on Twitter as much as people come and confront me with whatever I post about Gamergate. So, I don't really like, I sometimes I go outside and I come back and things like that. So honestly, I'm not that much into large Twitter debates.
I don't try to be. It just works out that way. Like it'll come off as just a casual conversation, and then all of a sudden somebody else comes in and wants to like throw a wrench into it, and it's like, man, screw you people. But that's usually the kind of thing that goes on. But yeah, schedule sounds really good. In fact, it's kind of funny that I was actually thinking about doing this, like try to do this like every Sunday around the same time, because it seems like King of Pool or I aren't up right now, so that's possibly a good timing.
We should work on something that could be edited by anyone that wished to have or host the stream.
Oh yeah, this channel. When I made this channel was made with the pure intent that this is not my channel. This is for everybody.
Yeah.
That and like if people want to put ad revenue into it or anything, they can do that. This will be all the money will go to them. Anything that they may need or giveaways or something, you know what I mean, like or charities, like that's the whole thing about this channel. This is for everybody that's in Gamergate, not just myself.
Yeah.
I go by a different name. A lot of people know me by Brimstone. That's who I am in this whole thing.
Do I follow you on Twitter?
For spiky-haired guy, probably. I don't know.
I've got no idea because can you actually link me to your Twitter or something? Like
actually, yeah, we'll do actually. Yeah, so I go by Brimstone. I know a lot of you already know that. I have a decent sized channel for YouTube. It's all gaming relevant stuff. Of course,
okay.
I've already sort of tainted my channel into the Gamergate stuff by my 2 videos. And I was like, okay, that's it. I'm not doing that anymore. That's why I made this channel, so that way we could talk about whatever we want when it comes to Gamergate, and not feel, because like my audience didn't really care for it. My audience was like, yeah, I don't care. Like, stop posting these videos. So I'm like, all right, okay, I get it.
So.
I'm definitely going to try to. I'm definitely want to put up a schedule. I'm definitely going to try to get as many people involved with this. For those of you that are watching right now, if you guys have anything you want to add to the conversation, please let me know. I do have the messaging up, so that way I can keep track of it. I've been pretty bad at that, I admit.
Wait, chat is up?
Well, in the comment section is what I meant.
Yeah. Let's see, somebody called Pixie Jenny an agent provocateur.
Yeah.
honestly, I mean, some of her points were fair, but I think what she mostly did was just trying to provoke, really. At least
Yeah,
that's
that's
my
what she
personal
does.
opinion about it.
Yeah, that's what she's already admitted to me that she does that. She's already told me that she trolls both sides. Facebook group Gamergate 2014 join up. All right, Travis, I will. I'll go and check that out. So anybody down in the comment section, feel free if you want to be added to the conversation. Please let me know what your experiences are with Gamergate and what you wish to achieve with your part of the fight. Me personally, like I said before, and I'll stick by this comment the whole time. Uh, this really isn't a war for me. This is more of a giant, enormous misunderstanding between reader and uh, publisher, article editorials. I mean, the whole 9 yards. I think this whole thing has been sort of blown out, and it's been a long time coming. It has.
Well,
It's been a long time coming. But I
it
think
has
there
been.
should be a resolve, though. There should be a resolve, a positive one at that.
Well, honestly, it has been bubbling up, and well, you get, I guess, in the most well-known YouTubers about this subject, you see different perspectives. I mean, I think Mundane Matt wants more of a sort of a dialogue. Sargon is just spending his time digging on Digra, and Internet Aristocrat, I feel like he wants to burn everything down and just just laugh about it. At least that's my impression. I'm not criticizing him or anything. I
No,
mean, I
not
kind
at
of find
all. It is kind of funny when you think about it because he stated that in his stream the other night when he was drunk. He's like, just burn it down. I mean, and it really is kind of funny. It really is. I mean, it sucks, but it's funny at the same time. But the thing is like at the end of the day, I mean, everybody, including those guys, can be better than themselves. With Sargon, I actually like Sargon a lot. Like I think what he tries to present to the table is really an interesting view on the situation from his standpoint.
he
Like,
does.
like it really does give a nice angle at what he's trying to pursue. And overall, though, the overall picture that I see him painting is he is really, really hard. He's got it in deep for feminists. Like he does
Well,
not care for feminists at all.
I actually talked to him, and well, I mean, he's always been sort of, at least he didn't really like feminists since the beginning, and he spends most of his time nowadays just, digging up stuff on Digra. And that's what he does. And however, I really liked his videos and everything because they're very well researched. At least in my opinion, they're very sort of well constructed and pretty much well researched.
Yeah.
He likes digging. He likes searching and digging to things and
Right.
pull out all of the worms and dirt and whatever you want about about anti-Gamergate.
That's awesome, though. Like he's willing to take time out of his personal life to help a cause, and I think that's really valiant of him. That's awesome. Like I saw some of his videos about it, and it's like, dang, dude, this guy went deep. Like he went all the way to like researching the personal lives of the members of the board. I'm like, whoa, that
You
is.
should No, you should maybe watch his videos more or something because when you watch them, then you realize that there's actually, the whole mess with Dagger. There's definitely like something behind Gamergate that is more political and a lot deeper than just video game corruption. I
Oh
think
yeah.
personally.
No, no. Well, that's like I was saying before, like before you came into the chat. Gamergate has definitely evolved into something more of a complex beast than it was prior. Before, it was just an ethics hungry animal that wants all that's just in the world to be back again into the gaming culture. But
Yeah.
it's slowly evolved into from an ethics community to a political research group. It's like crazy. And he's not the only one researching that I see. I see Roguestar. I saw him commenting the other day about researching some stuff on his own, and it
Mm.
seems like it's just these guys are like they all have are very well.
Okay, can you hear me? Because I think something happened.
Everything okay?
Yeah, because it went silent for a while, so I was wondering what happened.
No, everything seems good on my end right now.
Okay, then I think my computer might be messing up. This is not good.
That sucks.
Yeah, but by the way, about the rape culture thing, I think you wanted to talk about that at some point, right?
Yeah, yeah. I just I don't understand it. Like, what the heck? So, can you explain to me the basis of it? Like, where the argument stems from? Because I am still kind of like, I see so many people's opinions about it, and they're kind of like, okay, what?
Basically, radical feminists believe that rape culture is something that is perpetuated by the patriarchy, as in, um, men have, you know, they have internalized the entire misogyny. It's a bit hard to explain, but I guess it goes like this. Basically, men are taught since they were children that it's okay to sexualize women and objectify them and just rape them. That is the whole idea of rape culture, as in every secretly want to rape women, and that it became some sort of culture, and that it is reinforced by culture, by patriarchal culture.
How in the hell?
That's exactly what I think. It's like basically, and that's what I mean by I do not like the idea of radical feminists treating men like criminals, because basically they think that every man are potentially rapists and criminals and that probably committed some form of eye rape or whatever else you might be thinking, because for them apparently looking at an attractive woman in the street is rape.
Wow.
It's this bad. So I feel bad for being the person that explains this to you, because I wouldn't want anybody to discover that rape culture is a thing,
Hmm.
according to feminists, because once you start learning about these things, you're going to get mad every day.
Right, right. And well, no, like absolutely, absolutely. Like okay, so this is how I was introduced. And Peter Stillman, I will address Roguestar what I think about him after this. Um, okay, so this is what my introductory to what you guys call radfem or third wave.
Yeah.
Janet Bloomfield linked me quite a few.
Oh, I like her.
Yeah, she's a really nice person. I talked to her on Twitter. She's pretty cool, and Skype. She linked me quite a few forum threads where these people congregate to, and they post some of the most radical, some of the most hateful things I have ever read on the internet. It is literally
Oh, yes.
it is literally the dark side of the internet. Like this puts it, okay, the things they say and they talk about is far worse than any of the weird sexualized pony threads I've ever seen in my life. Okay, okay, that's how bad this is. There was one particular thread that sticks out to me because I couldn't believe someone with a logical mind or a correct mindset could actually say something like this. But they had stated that they were sad about being pregnant because they were having a boy, and that
Oh,
and that
Jesus.
and then one of the readers had commented on it and said, well, you can just grab a coat hanger. And then it got into this really dark and twisted between the reader and her say, and she even worked it out towards an end where she could literally kill her unborn male child and get away with it, and it would be okay.
It's, well, and
That is really disgusting. I was
yeah,
so I was so beside myself. I actually posted that on my Facebook to see if I was the only one that was crazy that this was wrong. I mean, that is just terrible.
but the thing is that this is not no longer something that is on the dark corner of the internet. It has spread to real life to a degree that certain college campuses, people in certain college campuses are calling for a curfew for men to avoid rape.
Wow.
I, maybe you should follow, like we were talking about the Sargon earlier on. Maybe you should follow his this week in Stupid, which is the series he's been doing, and he just
Yeah, I
keeps
saw
talking
some of
about
that
things like
stuff.
that happens, and basically some feminists really think that men are out there to rape all women and that men should be imposed a curfew just so that they won't rape women. It's no longer something that is contained in the dark corner of the internet. It's something that is spreading like wildfire in college campuses, this entire idea of rape culture. It's been talked about in conferences. They talk about white men privilege, they talk about rape culture, they talk about oppression, and these things are no longer things that are contained in the internet.
Right. It's just like I said. It was my first time reading something like that, and I was beside myself. I was so appalled and enraged when I read that. I was like thinking to myself, like, wait, like, so all this hard work that the first and second wave that has been doing since the '60s, and beyond that, for that matter, is pretty much going to waste because you women, or not you women. God, that sounds so bad. I didn't even make it to sound like that. I am a jerk. I am sorry. No, they make. I know, right? Check my privilege. These type of women are really setting their movement back, and I think that is something that's damning. And they have the gall to go into colleges and do that. That don't even make sense. Like, that is terrible. Like, what in the heck? This shouldn't even exist.
And yet it's a thing in colleges, and they even made some sort of consenting application.
I heard about that.
You heard about that?
I can't believe that's a thing.
It's dumb on so many levels. I don't even want to really talk about it. Even if I mention it, it just gets me mad that something like this is required to exist. And I actually talked to this second wave feminist woman, and she's actually French, and I talked to her, and she said that she does not want to label herself feminist anymore because she thinks feminism has been hijacked by angry lesbians that thinks that consensual sex is also rape. That is exactly what she said, and she was actually a leading figure in the French feminist movement in the 1970s. She's actually quite well known in France, and she stated that publicly.
Dang. That is crazy. Like, so, like, is it me, like, and this is gonna sound like I'm downing hipsters, but like, I'm not downing hipsters, but like, it seems like what hipsters are today is what punk was back in the '70s and '80s. I stated this at the beginning of the stream. Like punk back in the day, right, was one message. It was like they just wanted freedom altogether. Like, they wanted all inclusive freedom, meaning to no government whatsoever, complete anarchy, to overthrow the government. That was the original message for punk. It's never ever changed. It's been that way for decades, and it seems like it would be like a bunch of like people that are for punk. They're gonna say, oh no, well, we don't want anarchy, but we want all metalheads to fucking go die because they're horrible people and they spread racism. That's what this seems like. It's like they're the hipster of the groups. You know what I mean? And that's what it seems like with this new feminism wave. It's like they're like the hipster of the group. They want to go against what was commonly, a great thing, and they wanted to turn it into something dark and freaking damning. My goodness.
And, well, like this, I just personally think that they don't have any issues to complain about, so they're just going to create issues that they can get attention to themselves. And, it's not about equality anymore. It's about fucking over society. It's about just treating half of humanity like scum because of some things some of their ancestors might or might not have committed.
It's just like I didn't even talk to my fiance about that yet. Like, I wanted to show her that post when she gets home today after I get off of work. She's gonna laugh because Janet even made a statement on Twitter about it. She said she was like, when you think about it, and this was one of the blog posts, she's all having a man tell you that he wants to stick his penis in you is a real mood killer. And I couldn't help but laugh because it's true. Like, what is consent other than action, right? Like, when both people love each other, where does this thing that says, oh, you need to have written permission slip to have sex with me? Like, what? Like, the very moment I
Here.
see a slip in.
Here, you want to have sex? Let me just, switch on my application so that you can. So, hey, do you want to have sex? Are you drinking alcohol? You know.
Do you have any STDs?
Are you sure you want to have sex?
Like, I don't get that. Like, what part? Like, okay, honestly, I cannot see anybody being turned on at that point when they see a piece of paper that looks like a prenup slammed in front of them and told to sign it before they go crazy with it. I'm like, really? Like, right then and there, I'd be like, okay, I'm done. I'm out.
Oh.
I can't do this. I'm gonna go play some games. I'll talk to you later. That's exactly what would happen. I don't know. I think that whole thing is. So this guy says, what in the world? Hold on. I'm gonna mess his name up. I'm gonna mess your name up, buddy. Sorry about that. Let me see if I can. Connecticut says that consent app made me slam my face into the desk. The desk broke. The desk broke and I had to buy a new one. Like, that sucks, dude. Like,
sorry.
I feel your pain, man. I feel your pain. That. So real quick, it's coming towards the end, and Peter wants us to talk about Roguestar. So, what do you think about Roguestar? I think he's a pretty cool dude. I think because he said he's a little bit of a military guy himself on Twitter, which is why he explains his stance and the way he does, and the way he reacts to things, which I completely understand. My family was all military people, so I get it.
I don't have any problems with him.
No problems. I wasn't saying any problems. I was saying like, what do you think about him in general? That's all.
Well, I don't really know him, and I just happen to agree with him on many things, and that's about it,
Yep, same here, exactly. Roguestar is a cool dude in my eye. The problem with Twitter, though, as I'm guessing a lot of people were going at him, telling him, you're not helping us doing what you do. And he explained, well, I'm a military guy, so I react in the way I react based on that. I'm like, okay, I get that. That's understandable. Because military out here is really different than a lot of places. I got plenty of family members that are in the Army and in the Marines, and they are trained to react a certain way to anything, and it's not on a logical standpoint either. This is more of a how you're going to react in a fight to the death type situation. So trying to induce logic into that sort of mindset is really hard. So,
fight me in real life, faggot.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Prepare to be curb stomped. See, like, we should have apps for that. That's what I'm talking about. If we're going to have fights in this world, they should have, like, a stupid app for that. Be like, hey, you need to sign this before we fight. So make sure I'm not responsible for any of your medicals. Here, sign this paper. By the time they're done signing it, they're going to feel stupid. And they're going to be like, I don't feel like fighting now.
Good.
Oh, good stuff. So coming towards the end, all right. So overall, we've talked about a lot of crazy stuff, and that's perfect though. That's perfect. That's what this is all about. The situation is supposed to be about talking about what's up to speed, what's going on, and I can't believe the amount of stuff that, as far as information has gone, has procured over Twitter for like the last 2 weeks now, a week or two. Just to note that time frame alone, I have learned new terms that I've never used before. I'm still trying to use new terms that is involved with 4chan that's transferring over to 8chan. There's a lot to take in here. It really is. Like, so, I can't believe the amount of stuff. What is your involvement with all that too? Like, have you picked up on anything yourself or no?
What do you mean? Like
shills. I didn't even know a word like shill existed until
I actually know all of this because I've been browsing Chan since I was 14, 15 actually. That's like 5 years, almost 6 years of Chan browsing, and I didn't really pick up anything. It's just actually, I am kind of happy because it's the kind of language I'm used to that's getting spread out. So I just feel like a fish in the water here.
Well, people the first. Sorry, go ahead.
Shilling is like a word that comes from the word politically incorrect. And
Oh,
it's
okay.
basically for anybody that is like, somebody is going to. Do you know that board? Like, are you
No,
familiar somewhat with that board?
no, I'm not.
Okay, it's
Unfortunately.
politically incorrect. So basically, you get what it means. Somebody is going to post about the Zionist world domination, and then somebody is going to talk about how that is nonsensical, and then
Hmm.
somebody will call him, "Oh my God, I bet you are the Jewish Internet Defense Force. Get away, shill."
Oh, jeez.
It's
Wow.
a shill is basically somebody that is supposedly paid to spread information, a certain type of information about a certain type of organization. And in
Hmm.
this case, they're blaming the Jewish Internet Defense Force for, trying to say that Jews don't actually dominate the world.
Okay then. So now I know what
Don't visit,
skills are.
don't, you know what? Don't go on politically incorrect. It's a crazy place. You don't want to go there.
Well, I'm trying to come into this whole the way they handled themselves. My first introductory to this was a tiny chat with what I would consider the remaining bastion of 4chan, and that was a lot of people. It started off as like 200 people, and I ended up making my appearance there for my first time supporting. I was sort of like letting people know that, hey, this is me, this is what I do in the industry, and I support you, kind of thing. And I I was really welcomed pretty easily, actually. A lot of people were pretty positive when they saw, what it was that I did, and they saw that someone like myself was supporting it. They were like, "Oh, this is awesome!" And then they started using like words like "shill" and based. I was like, "Based? What's based?" Like I have no idea what this stuff means.
You know,
Like,
for these kinds of things, Know Your Meme is the best place you can look up. They're going to explain everything. Shills, based,
wow.
whatever.
I mean, it's fun. It's fun stuff. It really is. Like that's one of the reasons why I actually started my own board on 8chan was just so I can kind of get into it, should so to say. Which I'm still kind of confused on how to edit my own board, but I'm still learning, so it's okay.
Okay. So, so what's the link to the board then?
Oh, okay, yeah, all right. I'll put it up there, sure. Let me get it. I grossly unprepared. Let's see. This is my dashboard, I think. Ah, yes. Here we go. My board is spastastic. Here. Here you go. And I did a picture of Anita with a picture of her that says before he for she, and then after with a pregnant Asian man holding an AK.
God, that's amazing.
Like I'm really trying. Yeah, like I figured, what the hell? I'll try this out and see how I like it. This has been pretty fun so far, though.
By the way, since the beginning, I was talking about Wizard Chan, and
Oh
since
yeah, yeah.
I just discovered that you were not very familiar with. If I'm getting this right, you're not exactly familiar with all the chants in the system and everything, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
So, do you know what Wizard Chan is actually about?
No, I don't. I just heard the whole thing from like the Finding Capitalist, and then it sort of like played into that.
Wizard Chan is a very small image board
Mm.
in which people that are, there's this idea on the internet that if you remain a virgin man until 30, you're turning into a wizard. And basically, Wizard Chan, it's about it. So it has a board in which they discuss about their very neat interests, as in, no non-employed, with no social life interest thing. And then there's another board where it's basically just filled with I want to kill everybody and I want to kill myself.
Wow.
Because it's a really, really, really sad place of the internet. So that's why when I heard that Zoe Quinn was blaming Wizard Chan out of all places, that's when I know that this is bullshit. This just can't be. Because all Wizard Chan really cares about is their interest in killing themselves. And or being wizards and ignoring women. And if you're a woman that happens to post on Wizard Chan, you're called a succubus.
So yeah, and I think I watched a person the other day called the Miguel.
Yeah.
Would that have anything? Because he was talking about the same sort of situation where like men who stay away from women as far as relationships goes. Like that's like what a Miguel is. That's practicing being a Miguel is, and there's like different stages of being a Miguel. Like there's like a first stage, second, and third. I'm like, my goodness, this is just going nuts.
So yeah, wizardry.
Wizardry, sweet.
Something that you probably skipped since you have a fiancé, but you know that if you remained virgin until 30, you would have gained magical powers.
Oh, well, video evidence, or it doesn't happen.
Yeah. So, anyways, I have to go now. I have to leave the stream. So.
No, it's perfectly okay. I was just gonna tie it up as it was because it's coming to a close.
Yeah. It was nice talking about this.
Yes, it was. Thank you for coming on. And like I said, I'm gonna try to get this for like every Sunday. So.
Thank you for hosting.
Definitely. It was good having you.
Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye.